Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Swim or Sink. We are on 121 tonight. It is I, Mad Gamer II. I am joined by the first time, Miss Pick Six. How are you doing tonight, Six?
I'm doing great. I'm mad. I'm really excited to see everything this swim or sink has to offer.
Indeed, it's going to be a bit of a warm-up because we got Riptide coming up this weekend, both for us and for the teams that are going to be playing tonight. I haven't yet checked how many teams are going to be
Ooh.
playing in both yet, but it's going to be exciting to watch nonetheless.
Oh, I think I've heard of Benthic Brigade. I recognize that little down arrow and that cool looking B symbol. I think that means that they've beaten me in open before. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they play here.
Yes, that's generally how I find a lot of these teams. I run into them and get the losing side against them in open. But looking at their scores, they did not participate in the last SOS, but they were here a couple SOSs ago, and they did fairly evenly compare to each other. So this is going to be quite a fight coming out, but I'm just not very familiar with their playstyles just yet.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't think I know much about Forgotten. Are they a pickup team? Are they established?
No,
Do you
both
know?
of these are established teams. It looks like they all have
Ah,
their matching tags and whatnot.
Gotcha. I guess Forgotten's tag has gotten forgotten in my own mind as I haven't seen it before, or maybe I have and I don't know.
It's all part of the mind games. Like if you don't remember them, how can you learn their strats?
Oh, they're thinking like 3D chess waves. I like it.
Absolutely. I was just looking at the map list. Started on Towerfish Hacklefarts, a classic.
Mm, And I see Rainmaker, Undertow, and Clan Blitz Inkblot. These are all pretty classic ones that I see in a lot of these kinds of tournaments. I'm
Yes.
guessing that both teams are going to have pretty good strategies going into these, and I hope that they're able to hold out.
Oh, for sure. Like that's what you want to see for the first round of a tournament. It's like just get some of the well-known map modes in there just to get the teams warmed up. And we do have like the two new maps from this season. I haven't looked at the map list yet, but maybe we'll see them later on.
Oh, really? I know that for Riptide they said they weren't doing the new maps, so I figured that meant that Swimmer Sync wasn't either, but I haven't looked into it. I do not know.
It is possible. Like I know a lot of tournaments just don't usually bring out the new maps, but for now we're going to be going back to Hacklefish on Tower Control. Looking at these comps here. That's a Tentaprella from Toasty,
Oh,
as well as the new Sorella. So, and a Tri-Stringer at that. That's going to be some pretty spicy comps come out here.
gotcha. I was wondering which of the new weapons were going to be used here. I can't recognize them right off the bat. They're still pretty new to me. Uh, just knowing that they're out there to be used, seeing more Brellas, it's just that's exciting to me. We're done with the all shooters comp. We're getting into some cooler things.
Oh, absolutely. I'm definitely looking forward to it because I don't tend to be a shooter player myself, but just the Sorella icon is. I remember looking at it like, wow, that's pretty cool, but already Forgotten is making good use of it, getting down to the first checkpoint, and so far, Benedict Brigade has yet to take them back, but with 2 down, that might be the end of Forgotten's push here.
Yeah, it looks like Benthic Brigade is grouping up really well, getting Forgotten out of there. Able to push back to mid, seeing that Tacticooler come out, maybe they can all use sodas and they can start their initial push.
Oh, absolutely. As soon as the soda drops, it's like, that's the go to move forward to start taking space. Like, you can do all sorts of things.
You hear that little jingle and you're just ready. You're like, okay, this is the time. Now we gotta move.
Exactly. Looks like we did see the Wiper go down, but the Nautilus goes down in turn, so Benthic Brigade, they might be able to take this checkpoint, but not with 3 Ink Strikes coming out to crush them. That's going to be a half of their team down, so Forgotten's going to stop them before they get too many points, and they're going to be resetting it back to mid.
Yeah, it looks like Forgotten has some pretty good defense here with the tri-strikes going out, and now with the hammer, they're able to hold forward pretty well. Maybe they'll get some more points over here.
Indeed, the Hammer doesn't tend to have too much of the glory nowadays, but against a Tentabrella shield, it can do a lot of good work. And once again, that's going to be 2 of Benthic Brigade down. Forgotten going to get another stab at that second checkpoint. What they're going to have to do is really take control of that top right area if they want to be able to hold it, because once Benthic Brigade gets back and starts popping those specials, like that's going to be a hot zone over in this corner.
Yeah, I'm seeing for that corner, they're really taking advantage of the killer whale from uh, the Springer, because they did that last time when they pushed there, but it wasn't enough to that area. Now they're getting pushed back by Benthic Brigade.
That's right. It was only the Stringer left for live there, so they had to hop out, and they were able to do so without getting taken down. So they're going to be coming back for the defense. And it looks like the Vacuum trying to just counter the strings and get a nice splat on the one player from Forgotten, just keeping them from being able to drop too far. And now just the pressure on the Stringer going down. That's the backline taken out. They're just going to have to watch out for the Inkjet from that Brilla.
Yeah, Benthic Brigade is in a really good spot here, getting all those picks earlier. Now they're going to have to hold against this very strong defense from Forgotten. They were able to hold out against the Inkjet. Let's see if they can hold out against the Brella too. Oh, they did it! Maybe they'll get some points here.
And Vacuum came in clutch there, able to protect their teammates there, keep them alive, able to get those splats that they needed. So this is going to be them taking on the second checkpoint, and with the Wiper down as well, they might have a good chance of it, but the two members up in the top right, and that's what I was saying before, is on the defensive side, that's going to be a hot zone. You have to be able to take control of it if you want to take control of the checkpoint. And so far, they haven't been able to get the 1 point to get the lead. Forgotten is just keeping them on hold for the time being.
They are trying so hard to get that last point. Oh my goodness. Oh, maybe they can do it now. They had 3 down. See Benthic Brigade try and hold this tower. There's still one more. Oh, they jumped out. I think Benthic Brigade can get it here if they can just coordinate a little bit, hold it together.
And a splash, they tried to get the pick on the Nautilus, but weren't quite able to successfully, but they were able to jump out with those tri-strikes on hand. And it's going to be 3 members down for Benthic Brigade. Just ends up trying to stay alive and hold the tower, but not going to happen.
I was literally on the edge of my seat there. I was holding out. I was like, Benthic Brigade, you're so close. Just the 1 more point. But it's so hard in that corner there. If you don't have most of the other team down or pushed back, they're going to take that, or for offense, it would be the right corner. And if they have that, then you're just going to get pushed out continuously like saw here.
Oh, absolutely. Like, this is the hardest point of the map, I think. Like, unless you do get the wipeout, as you said, it's just like, it's so hard to really fight through. Like, even when we saw the rain game pop there, they were able to just push through it, take down the tower riders, and I don't think they had an Inkvac on hand to really protect them either. So with 10 seconds remaining and all of Forgotten just take control of mid, this might be a GG for Benthic Brigade. Like, they have a couple of seconds to take the tower, and with 2 members down, that might be the chance they need.
Let's get this overtime. Let's see if they can hold it here. Oh, against an Inkjet, that's a little tough. They managed to keep it for a little bit longer. Oh, they can't hold it against the Spice Stringer, though. We've got the Brella. Maybe they can... No, they did make it!
The shield was out, but there was a bomb, went unnoticed, just slipped underneath there, took out the rider, and then Forgotten was able to take control of the tower. That was definitely a very close comeback for Benthic Brigade. Like, they were so close. Like, it was just a 1 point difference. But Forgotten hold it out strong, keeping that defense tight.
Gosh, so close. That is the most maddening thing when you're playing against a team and you lose by 1 point.
Oh, I know. It's like, you can't help but shake your head, but it gives you hope for the next one, because if it was that close in the first one, it may have been just a situational or, you know, a map mode. You could definitely flip it around in just a different circumstances.
That's true. It's not as bad as when you do get knocked out and you kind of lose all hope. There is still hope here. We can still get one for Benthic Brigade.
Absolutely, and going into Rainmaker on Undertow, that Tentabrella is definitely going to be quite helpful, not only for the main weapon shield, but just having a vacuum on hand to protect the Rainmaker holder can get a lot of points out of that.
Oh, definitely. I haven't seen a lot of that play, actually, even though I know that the back is stronger than it used to be with its final explosion having a bigger radius. Initially, when it was getting used, it was surprising for a lot of people. You got a lot of easy picks from people who weren't suspecting it. But I think now, because everyone knows to sort of avoid the vacuum, that it's just not used as often.
No, I agree. Like, between being able to counter it and just having like very niche weapons, like I don't think there's too many weapons that a lot of people play already, you know, except for maybe the ballpoint. Now, we do have the vacuum on the ballpoint, so might be seeing some good use of that, but it's really just the Jet Squelcher has been seeing the most vacuum use, I think.
Really? I haven't seen a lot of jet sculpture used,
Exactly.
but if there's gonna be a vacuum pick, I suppose it's that. Unless you want to be silly and use the what charger was it that has the vacuum?
Oh yes, the vanilla charger. Although
Yes.
you're right that there are quite a few charger mains left around, but we're going back into this, and will Toasty be staying on that tent umbrella? They will indeed. Pretty much no changes from Benthic Brigade's comp, it looks like. Still going with that same Nautilus and double shooter met. Oh! But Chrono's bringing out the tent umbrella as well. Actually, both of them are rocking the Zooka tent at this time around.
Ooh, that's an interesting choice. I'm wondering why the Zooka? Why here? Why for Rainmaker? Just to hold space more, I suppose. I guess we'll see. We'll see when it comes out.
Well, the Tenta Shield can definitely protect the Rainmaker a lot better than it can on tower control. The Vacuum is kind of a supplement for tower control, but with just the amount of surfaces you gotta push up on Undertow, like that Zooka is gonna come in handy, but it doesn't look like they need it.
Oh my
They're
goodness.
already up to the slicks here, like 21 points in the first
Wow.
push. That's incredible. They're not done yet.
Yeah, Forgotten's really showing how strong they still are. Holding it to 1 point. They got it to 1 point. Oh my goodness. And already we're only a minute into the game and we've gotten
Oh my goodness, like yeah, Benthic Brigade, they gotta get a knockout now. They were able to keep them from getting the knockout on them, so they still are in this game, but for the next 4 minutes, they gotta completely knock it out if they want to win.
Yeah, it's a bit of a unfortunate for Benthic Brigade because they're probably very psyched out right now. It's basically they have to prove that they can get the Rainmaker all the way for the knockout. Otherwise, it's Forgotten's game.
Well, the thing is just they gotta find that momentum, but we're already seeing that toxic miss game thrown up by the Tri-Stringer. The Tri-Stringer is going to be one of their biggest obstacles they gotta get through. So unless they take them down, and perhaps the T-Tech as well, it's going to be
Kronos
an
is going
uphill
from
battle.
behind. Jeez. I saw the kind of backdoor by Kronos. You don't see a lot of flanking Relas, I don't think. They usually are in front of their shooters trying to protect, but wow, they're really finding ways to just get around Benthic Brigade and penetrate their defenses.
Yeah, that's what's going to be keeping Benthic Brigade on their toes, just being able to strafe around them when they're not expecting it, and the Umbrella no less. But already that's 3 members down once again for Benthic Brigade. Forgotten getting another stab.
I was like, where's Benthic Brigade? Where are they? We're just seeing the Rainmaker carrier just kind of watching here. Benthic Brigade is being held off really well, I suppose, by the other members of Forgotten.
They really, like, with 1 point, they don't even need to knock it out at this point. Like, just keeping it in this corner is going to stall for so much time. Like, not only do Benthic Brigade have to push it from halfway across the map, it's going to be hard to just fight them when they're in this corner here because they only have the 2 entrances.
This is a silly exchange that's happening over here with the Umbrella and this shooter. Doesn't seem to be working quite well.
The Benthic Brigade trying to find some
Oh,
footing,
goodness.
but
The hammer, that Ultra Stamp!
Forgotten once again in control.
Yeah, they've grouped up pretty well. They're still trying to push on the left there. Doesn't look like Benthic Brigade can get around the Umbrella.
No, yeah, that Tent Umbrella shield has been causing a lot of pain for Benthic Brigade. Like, we did see that toss-up with the shooter beforehand, and it didn't really end in a solid victory for either of them, but it still just ate away so much time. Like, we're down to 1.5 minutes, and Benthic Brigade has made 1 push so far, and for the rest of the time, it's just been in the corner.
I bet that is the strategy, eh? Just kind of waste time.
Oh, absolutely. Like, that's all Forgotten's got to do at this point.
Well, looks like they're doing pretty well, holding pretty evenly against each other.
It's been reset to mid finally, but, well, the Benthic Brigade, they lost half their team, but then they took down half of Forgotten's team, so it's kind of evened out once again. Here's another stab, trying to get to that checkpoint, but once again, are coming into play.
Oh, they got stopped. They got stopped this time. Let's see. Oh, almost the checkpoint. Benthic Brigade almost got the checkpoint. Let's see if they can group up and try and get it before the timer goes down. It looks a little tough. It looks like the Umbrella from Forgotten is going around. Oh, but they get taken down. Let's see if Benthic Brigade can get this Rainmaker move just a little bit more forward.
30 seconds, they're popping some specials. They're finally able to get the Maker almost to the checkpoint, getting the checkpoint.
Yay!
Now we see the shot and the end zap just pushing up, taking space, trying to open up the path. Right now, Forgotten, they've used all their specials. They don't have any left, so they're going to have to build them all over again. But once again, the tri-stringer, between the Toxic Mist and their arching shots, they're just keeping them at bay. And the Rogue Bomb is going to finish off the Maker Carrier with 10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, it looks like Benthic Brigade is getting taken from behind a lot by the different members of Forgotten. First it was Librella, then it was the Wiper just there. Looks like they couldn't hold out against them.
Indeed, yeah. Forgotten coming on top once again from a single push made in the first minute.
Gosh.
And we, like you mentioned before, just the amount of flanks and running around that Forgotten was doing during that match. Like, Brigade weren't able to really like have a solid offensive just because they had to watch their backs the whole time. They couldn't really lock down where Forgotten was.
That seems to kind of be the difference between them. I don't remember Benthic Brigade having any sort of flanks like that. It's mostly, I guess, Forgotten is just coordinated enough to know who can flank when. Because it was not the same person even. It went between the Brella and the Wiper. So they just had to know, like, okay, now it's your turn to flank.
Right. But then also just, depending on whether you have the lead or not, how much of a lead you have just completely changes your game plan. Like, once again, with 1 point, such a solid lead like that, they could afford to take a couple of risks, throw out a player or two, get some flanks in, just like maybe get a trade or two, and every single opportunity they have to stall out Benthic Brigade just play to their advantage. And so we saw that happen. Like, they got pinchered so many times when they tried to make that corner, and just the stringer just doing an excellent job of playing defense.
Yeah, that's so tough. I feel like Undertow is very tough. Because either way, there is unpaintable space where if you're trying to push up, you really just need your whole team there to protect each other. Otherwise, you're just going to get picked off.
Exactly. It's going to be a bit of a different game plan coming out for Clamblins and Inkblot Art Academy. Bit of a smaller map, not quite as long or narrow, but Clamblins is tough because the baskets, again, is small. And so the baskets are really close to each other. So just if you lose too many members, it just completely flips the whole game around.
Yeah, that's right. Not seeing any switch ups in the weapons, I don't think. Oh, I don't remember a splash from before.
Yeah, I think that's the splatter shot swap to the splash there. Crab is exceptionally strong because of the two stacks on this map.
Yes, definitely. I remember in earlier Splatoon 3 days, just having comps with multiple crabs, and they could take both stacks, and it was insane. Oh, I'm glad that's not the meta.
And we're already seeing it getting popped there. The Tentabrilla goes down, but they lose their end stats, so that's going to be no Tacticooler for them for a while, but they don't really need it. They got the Wiper and the Tent down, as well as their shooter.
Oh, Benthic Brigade's in a good position here. They had 3 down on the side of Forgotten. Let's see if they can get some clams together, build a power. They're right there. They're so close to basket. Oh, I think they got one in. Let's go.
That's always a downfall for Clams. Like any other mode, you can just push in, take space, and get painted, and then you're kind of already up getting the objective. But Clamblets, if you forget the power clam, you're just sitting there like, okay, what do we do now?
Oh, definitely. I cannot count the number of times that I've had my whole team right next to the basket and then been like, wait, where are the clams? We don't have the clams!
And it's even harder, like, just you get a wrong timing and the clams haven't even spawned yet. It looks like Forgotten, they have a lot of paints on the ground and they're trying to make a return push, but they lose 2 of their members in their push, so now Benthic Brigade is just locking down their flash if they can survive these tri-strikes that are coming out.
Yeah, it looks like they're surviving all the things that are being thrown at them. Bombs. I think I saw the torpedo. Let's see. They're still holding on pretty well despite all the projectiles.
Tentabrilla just trying to get in there, open up the path, but their shield just kind of went off to the side. They did get taken down, but that is going to be the basket and the lead to Forgotten here. They have a pretty solid control of Benthic Brigade's plat, and they have a pity clam as well coming in along with another power clam. If they get both of these in, that's going to be a lot of points, but Benthic Brigade able to keep the other power clam from going in. So 39 is a pretty decent lead, but not as bad as it would have been with the power clam.
Oh, that was a good rush on the side of Benthic Brigade. They got that wipeout. They were able to pull together really fast, get 2 power clams now, able to push up almost to their basket, but it doesn't look like they're able to take enough space to hold and get a score in.
Mm-hmm. And I think once Benthic Brigade was able to get those defensive specials online, that just kind of forced them out or sent them back to spawn. But right now, Forgotten is locking down their defense pretty well. The Benthic Brigade, they lost one of their clam carrier members, so now Forgotten is back in control of mid with a lot of yellow paint, and I think that's a power clam about to despawn as well, so Benthic Brigade kind of short-handed.
I'm really impressed by the use of the chunks here. They're just really being used well to take space, to paint up, and those along with all the different bombs, it's so hard for Benthic Brigade to get back in.
Oh, indeed, like then you throw some tri-strikes on top of that, just like a whole soup of, oh, I don't want to be here.
Yep. There's nowhere safe to stand. Looks like Forgotten got another one in, yeah. Oh, but it looks like a few of their members are going down. Doesn't look like they're able to take advantage of one score. Still at 39 here.
Yeah, unfortunately not. They got through some of their penalty points, but not all of them. So it's basically just going to give Benthic Brigade another pity clam, which they kind of need at this point. Like, they haven't been able to make another push, and they haven't been able to take enough space to collect those clams. And we're down to almost a minute here. Forgotten is just putting on all the pressure.
That was a very sneaky wiper play there, hiding on the left until they had enough paint for the Ultra Stamp.
Yeah, Gladiator has been going ham on that wiper, just coming in from the side. Like, they basically third-partying with that hammer. Anytime his teammates get in a fight, he's like, oh, here, it's hammer time.
I'm just impressed at how yellow the entire map is. Like, even in spots that Forgotten hasn't been able to reach yet, they've just thrown enough things up there to have it painted their color.
Oh, absolutely. And just playing to their favor, that Tinterbrell has just been able to get a nice free pass to the behind the basket, getting it down to 30. And with 30 seconds remaining, unless Benthic Brigade has a lot of power clams to throw in, they're kind of sitting in a rut here.
Oh no, I'm not sure what's going on in this corner. Oh, it looks like one of Forgotten was trying to be sneaky, but they just went down. Benthic Brigade has 2 power clams here. Maybe they can get together, try and push forward enough to score one of them.
Yeah, they've been playing the stall strat pretty well. Like with the Tinterbrella just causing havoc behind them, they weren't able to mount a push here. They're trying to do it now with a few seconds remaining, but just the defense is locking down on them. Just the ends up remaining, and they didn't even get to their penalty points. That's going to be the end of that push there. And Forgotten getting a clean 3-0 against Benthic Brigade.
That's a good one. Good one for the side of Forgotten. That was they proved themselves throughout those 3 matches. First, it was very close, and then as they started to learn the play style of Benthic Brigade a little bit more, find out what their weaknesses were, they were able to capitalize on that and to capture the last 2 matches.
And I think we can confidently say that Forgotten will not be forgotten after a match like this.
No, I won't forget you, Forgotten.
But I think you're right. Like, just throughout these 3 matches, Forgotten slowly were pulling away from that kind of close fight that we had in that first match. I think just the superior or the excellent push that they had in the second match just completely set the tone for the rest of the set here.
Oh, definitely. Like I said, I think it really psyched out Benthic Brigade just having to come back from such a strong push so early in the game.
Mm-hmm. No, well, absolutely. But of course, this is just the pools. It is not over just yet. They will be moving on to facing some other opponents. And in the meantime, we'll be going to a short break as we prepare the next set. So stay tuned, stay hydrated, and we'll be right back. Hello, hello. We are back. A bit of a short break, but we are preparing ourselves for round 2. Eepy Dreepy versus Goobers. Once again, it is I, Mad Gabriel II, joined by the wonderful Six.
Hello. I'm the wonderful Six.
Looks like one of these teams. What was it? Eepy Dreepy is going to be another South team, but Goobers is a bit of a pickup we got going here.
I feel like I know some of the members of Goobers. I'm not sure. It's unfortunate because the name like Lunar or Sophie, they're pretty common. So you think you know them, and it's like, oh wait, this is the wrong person.
Exactly.
So I won't say anything but positive things. Good players. Every Lunar, every Sophie, good player.
Like who has time to memorize flash tags? Like, could be me.
I do try.
I could barely remember my own.
Oh goodness, yeah. Whenever you join a new team and you have to get a new team tag, it's such a hassle, especially now with the new Splatoon 3 rules if you can only change it once a month.
For real.
You have to keep track. You have to keep track of like what day you changed it, so you know what day you can change it again.
Indeed, but just don't do too many team hopping, or maybe just be a freelancer. You are just fine. It looks like our map list starting now. Zones, Mako, Tower, Mansa, and Rainmaker Humpback. I actually like this set. These are some really decent map modes.
Yes, I love Mako March. It's one of my favorite maps. I think just because you can call out breakfast.
Who doesn't love breakfast?
Exactly. Everyone loves breakfast. You don't love breakfast when you're getting flanked from it, but otherwise, you love it. You know you do.
Now, Makamar is definitely a fan favorite, but it's also a tough map just because of it's very narrow, very condensed. Like you got a lot of different avenues that you gotta watch out for, and a lot of cover for some of the shorter range shooters. So I know for myself, playing backline, I've had to adapt my style specifically for Makamar just because of how aggressive you can be as a frontliner.
Oh yeah, I remember. Do you remember Makamar back when they didn't have the giant signs hanging off the ceiling that would be in your way? Remember those days, kids?
It was a whole other time.
Back in the good old days when chargers were free.
Well, they were free once ink armor was no longer a thing.
That's also fair.
But nowadays, like we kind of got Ink Armor Junior with the Tacticooler. Pretty much everyone's been running the Tacticooler. Like you don't get the invincibility, but you get back so fast it looks like you're invincible.
That's true. Running that and then quick respawn is just so punishing, especially for backlines when you're just trying to keep people down. They just keep coming back. It's so frustrating.
It becomes a mini horde mode.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. But I mean, it's a strategy and it works. It works enough for it to become meta, so.
Sure. Now if it works. Can't blame it for that. Gonna be hopping into here. We're gonna see. Oh well, here we are talking about cooler. No cooler for the Goobers here.
Wow.
Or Eepy Dreepy. Wow. But they are gonna be. Oh, I take that back.
Oh,
We do
Alice
see the,
has one. Yes.
Yes, I always forget the Tri-Slosher has it, but B and Dev running the double Tri-Strikes. They're definitely going for some zone paint.
Yeah, I feel like the Tri-Strike weapons are pretty good here. You just put 3 on zone and it's basically painted. But looks like we got Eepy Dreepy here to
Indeed, so a nice cleanup early on.
Lead.
Goobers having a bit of tough time. See, this is where Makamar really gets dangerous because, like, unless you use your specials such as you're seeing now, like getting the Tri-Strikes to be able to push out the hammer to follow up, like, it's hard to push back in without those. And Goobers did an excellent job at just that. There's just the charger for EPGP remaining. They're going to be taking the zone and looking to take that lead back. 6-3, not a bad first push, but we're definitely going to be seeing a lot more points out of this. Already 2 down for the Goobers. Tri-Strikes coming out. That's going to be a pretty instant zone cap with 6 Tri-Strikes on the zone. Reflex going in trying to, or sorry, the Reef Slider trying to make something happen, but they're just a bit outpainted.
And sorry, it looks like my internet is dropping frames here, but I can see now that it's still pretty even between both teams. Although Eepy Dreepy just got the wipeout, so never mind.
It was even up until that point, and now
Yes,
Eepy
exactly.
Dreepy is just moving on into Goobers spawn. We see the try and the Viper just completely camping out this corner right here, just shutting down that avenue. And with 30 points remaining, another
Wow.
wipeout. Eepy Dreepy is sitting really pretty right here.
Wow, it was so even earlier, and now it looks like Eepy Dreepy has established themselves on Goober's side, and they just can't get them out.
And that comes down to like that is where you want to be on the defending team on Makamar, just being able to get up into the enemy spawn and keep them from getting out. And even with the zone cap post game,
Yeah,
Eepy Dreepy clean KO.
that's so unfortunate. I saw the Doolies player run in there with the reef slider and try and paint it real quick, but it was just not fast enough.
Unfortunately, the points ran out before the reef slider did. So Eepy Dreepy getting a pretty solid first game here. But going up to Tower Control Manta, I feel like with how far pushed up Eepy Dreepy was in that last match, if they could get that momentum again for Tower Control, they could really get a lot of points fast.
And you know, for Goobers, they do have a little bit of hope here, because it did take a little bit before Eepy Dreepy had that rhythm, before they were able to establish themselves. If Goobers can recognize it quicker, maybe they can hold off a little bit longer.
Oh, for sure. Like, being able to keep Eepy Dreepy from getting that momentum can certainly give them a foothold in this game, because really just Tower Control in general is a lot about that snowball effect. And with Manta Maria, how narrow that tower path is,
Oh, yeah.
like, you really got to be able to chain those specials, be able to take positions ahead of time to really get some points on the board.
You know, people talk about hallway maps all the time. They never mention Manta Maria. Is it because it's not a straight, narrow hallway? I still feel like the streets behind the middle parts, that seems like a hallway to me.
It's definitely a hallway map, but it's not like a straight hallway. You got a bit of twists and turns to this bit of a maze. Like, street is very narrow. You got a lot of tight spaces to work with, but then you on other modes that are not Tower Control, Manta's a little bit easier to break out of, just because you have more avenues to the right and left than you would on some other maps, like Hagglefish. Hagglefish is just so much more difficult to break out of, because it is a very hallway-esque map, and there's not as many avenues to get around it that Manta has.
Yeah, that's fair. Although I feel like when you're in the street in Manta Maria, it's so easy to get surrounded, sure, because like there's so many high up places that the enemies can hide in.
Yeah, that is the dangerous bit right there. Is just if you fall in the street and you're outnumbered, it's gonna be a quick path back to spawn.
Yep. People can learn how to hold those really well. They'll win this for sure.
Of course, we saw plenty of tri-strikes in that last match. You know, we see the potential it has for zone, but it just has kind of replaced the GG Booyah Bomb, and now we have the GG Strikes.
You know, I never thought about it that way. I do see a lot less Booyah Bombs now that tri-strikes are stronger.
Well, I feel like, especially for that end game, the Booyah Bomb is kind of like throw it one and done. If you don't get your mates on the towers, they can still keep pushing it, but tri-strikes, you throw one, just give it a little time, throw another, and so on and so forth. But
they dropped the chargers here. We've got some different backlines. On the side of Goobers, we have the NZAP now, and on the side of Eepy Dreepy, I guess they have the, oh gosh, I forget what the new Splatling is called.
That right there is the heavy-headed Splatling, and I am excited to see this gameplay right here. But you're right, both of these teams are bringing out the cooler in place of a backline here, and I think they're trying to be able to play that momentum, or at least being able to have tools to break the other momentum, because yeah, if they get staggered out too much, it could be really rough. But already Dev just setting up on this perch here and cleaning up space for Eepy Dreepy to push out, and already we're seeing those strikers come out to clean up after him.
Yeah, I was really impressed that Dev was able to just walk up into the Goobers street and just take out so many people, just like not challenged at all.
Well, Manta Maria is notorious for being a very splat lane friendly map because of the grading that you have on mass. It's basically just a free path right to the enemy bunker, but Inzap, Sylphie able to knock down that flat lane, keep them from getting 2 more damage, but Eepy, they have a lot of paint on the map.
Yeah, they seem to be able to hold pretty well against the Goobers here.
Goobers just trying to find a way to break out. Like they're keeping them from getting points on the board, but they're losing player after player. They're kind of staggered right now. They haven't been able to amount a full force to break out yet.
Yeah, it looks like Dreepy is just not being completely wiped. They're able to still hold a little bit past the mid here. I think they've really established themselves, even though they still have people going down, because they're able to jump in so quickly. They can still hold this area.
I think also because of EPGB's early aggression, they're able to take down Goober's Cooler user, and with Cooler on their own side, they just have that advantage to be able to get back quicker and maintain presence. But I'm also just noticing they have the Deca Wiper on their side, so they have the beacons for extra returnability.
Oh, that's a good strategy. Stick them in places where Goobers can't reach yet. And it looks like that's what they're doing too. They're even a little bit ahead of mid, but because they're in places that are heavily protected, Goobers just can't take out those beacons.
Oh, absolutely. And with how long the Mantum is, like having those beacons in the hand just increase or makes your return to mid so much quicker. And we're once again with Goobers 3 down, Eepy Dreepy taking that control so quickly.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, you were saying, especially on this map, that walk back to mid, if you just spawn in regularly, is so long. So having those beacons is so helpful here.
Oh, absolutely. Right now, we're Eepy Dreepy finally able to get to that second checkpoint with the Splatling on tower and the Wiper, and then see the ends up on their mist. They are just so pressed up right now. Like, Goobers has so many obstacles to get between them and the tower, and Eepy Dreepy has only one checkpoint left.
They were able to pinch those guys very, very well. Eepy Dreepy just had players everywhere to surround them. Oh, it's like, oh, they got it! They got to the end. Good job, Eepy Dreepy.
It was so unfortunate. They were able to take down the tower rider, but momentum just carried the tower right into that last KO checkpoint. So that is going to be Eepy Dreepy going 2-0 right here, but we still have the last match to play, and with pools, that last match can still count for those points. But right now, Eepy Dreepy has just been really dominant in these games.
Yeah, it's really impressive to see them just be able to establish themselves, and that Goobers just can't get rid of them. They just keep coming back.
I think, as you mentioned before, it is taking Eepy Dreepy a bit of time to really set up that presence. Like they're slowly building up like a steam train. They don't have a good sprint out the gate, but once they have that momentum built up, they just steamroll right through them.
It does take them a little bit to sort of establish their rhythm, to see how they want to, use their advantage to push forward. And it's amazing to me that although it took a little bit of time, both of these matches, but they were still able to do that. They were still able to coordinate enough to figure out, okay, this is what we need to do, and this is how we win.
For sure. Now the last one, Rainmaker and Humpback Punch Track. We talked about tower control being the momentum-based mode, but this is one, once again, like Clambless, it's just you lose too many members, you just lose a whole lot of points along with it, because you're able to just, as the attacking team, if you're able to take down the enemy team, it just completely opens up the way you don't have anything holding you back at that point.
I'm just thinking a lot about this map. I love this map so much. And for Rainmaker, it's always fun to see who goes to the left instead of the right. Because the right always feels like, okay, this is how you take the Rainmaker. But there are people who are able to make it work on the left. They're able to be sneaky enough to get up onto the enemy's area and just like clear it out enough to push from that way. It doesn't happen often, but I'm looking forward to seeing if either of these teams are able to do that.
That is so true. And it's like we always have the safe route and the spicy route, and sometimes we just like to see the spicy route being used.
Sometimes we just like a little variety,
Exactly. You know, we've seen a bit of variety from both the teams so far. Like, what are some weapons that you like to see on Humpback Pump Track?
That's true. Oh my goodness. I have a soft heart for any kind of blaster use, and especially on this map, because that shooting from the ground up at the middle with a blaster is just so deadly, and there's nothing you can do about it because you need to be in the middle. You need to establish space, but what can you do against a blaster? Not much, especially when they're underneath you.
That is true. Like, not only is this Humpback very uneven in its strength, but you have like hit with a lot of ledges on your own base, and the blaster just camps those ledges so well. You can't drop if you don't know where they are.
Exactly. Oh, we're seeing the charger back on the side of Sophie. Oh, and a ballpoint on the side of Goobers.
Indeed, that's going to be the new ballpoint nouveau with that ink vac we were talking about before.
Oh, they're going to do the ink vac strategy we were talking about earlier with the Rainmaker. That'll be
exactly. Ooh, but we're also seeing the new ink brush nouveau, or the octobrush nouveau, coming out from Goobers here as well. Well, it was there, but then they were taking it out.
Yeah, seeing a lot of picks early here. They're really trying to both be very aggressive, trying to establish themselves. And I think Goobers might finally have found what they need to do to have this aggression. Although this one octobrush against the entire team doesn't seem to be doing it.
Yeah, you run face first into an ink vac, you're not going to be able to go anywhere real soon, but that's going to be the first checkpoint just done for Eepy Dreepy here. And they have the enemy. Oh, the Vanilla Charger has that ink vac as well, so now Goobers is going to just really clean up the defense. A nice shot from the ink vac, just taking out that corner.
Oh, definitely. And we were just talking about what weapons we don't usually see pulled out for back use, and now we've got the Charger. I guess it is strong enough on this moment to pull that out.
I think it really comes down to like the players that are comfortable enough with the Charger to be able to make good use of it. And we see they are doing really good use with it. 2 members of Eepy Dreepy down before they can even move. So Goobers, they have a chance now. They're having a chance to find their footing if they can survive the ink vac by popping their own.
Back against back action. Let's go.
I was curious to see if they were going to swallow up the other ink vac shot, but they're going to be instead using it to pop the Rainmaker.
Ooh, doesn't look like Goobers can hold that strategy though, as they get taken out quickly by Eepy Dreepy. They're going right here. Oh, they're getting they're getting points here, able to go around all of the Goobers' different attacks.
Yeah, as soon as you get a wipe out like that, it's just home free to the checkpoint. Not quite able to get the KO just yet, but with 9 points, like that is a really tough lead to come back from.
Ooh, it looks like that Rain is doing some good work on the side of Goobers, taking out a player here. Oh, but there's enough on the side of Eepy Dreepy that maybe discarding.
A nice final. It was a KO for Eepy Dreepy, bring it up to a 3-0 against Goobers. You know, we did see Goobers, they almost were able to make something happen in the latter part of that match, but the wipeout just really shut them down.
Yeah, that one was very exciting to watch because it did seem like Goobers had a hold there for a little bit. They were able to shut Eepy Dreepy down just enough to push forward a little bit, but when Eepy Dreepy coordinates like that, they are a force, definitely.
Oh, absolutely. And it was fun to watch because we saw several of the new season weapons coming out in these sets.
I'm so glad.
I am very much a Splatling fanatic, so being able to see both the edit and the new ballpoint in action was right to my liking.
I'm so glad that they're getting used. Sometimes when the newer weapons come out, they're so niche in their usage that nobody uses them, and it's just the same old again. But these ones, it looks like people are taking a liking to them, and I think that's pretty fun.
I think it comes back to what you said earlier. It's like we're just seeing a lot more variety. It's no more triple crab, double bucket.
And thank goodness for that.
The niches are coming out of their shells a bit. That is once again Eepy Dreepy 3-0 over Goobers. And that's going to be the end of that set once again. We kind of flew through that last one. We're
Yeah,
going to be
Eepy
taking
Dreepy was good. They got those 2 knockouts.
Indeed, they did. So that's going to give them some excellent points going into the top cut later on. But for now, we're going to be going to a short break as we wait for our final round of pools. So stay tuned, stay hydrated, and we'll be right back.
But now, Jake, you are stacking on a ton of damage, and the crowd goes wild. A lot of special being unleashed on this zone right now. Very, very nice sniper. Nice double sniper. Oh!
Smoke, and that uses up his invincibility time.
No.
Here's the answer. There's the dunk, and Cake Assault wins.
Welcome back, everyone. We are once again in Swim or Sink 121, round 3 of pools. We have Surf and Turf versus Crescent Knights. Once again, it is I, Mad Gamer II, joined by Six.
Hello, I'm Six, and I'm very excited to see how Surf and Turf and Crescent Knight do against each other. Now, I know I've heard Surf and Turf before. I think I've heard them doing well in low ink. But I haven't heard anything about Crescent Knight. They look like an established team, so I don't doubt that they are also very great.
Yeah, Crescent Knight, a bit on the down low, don't know much about them, but Surf and Turf definitely have been making headway both in low ink and in SOS. In fact, I'm pretty sure they got 9th in Great White not too long ago in SOS.
Okay, I don't know my SOS history, and that's shame on me, so...
Not me, just literally looking it up like 2 seconds beforehand.
No, you're not so
But yeah, Surf and Turf, they're definitely got a lot of heat packing behind them, and quite the roster as well.
Yeah, you don't usually see rosters this big. I'm excited to see if they switch around people for each match.
I did hear there's going to be some subs coming in between matches, so we're definitely going to see a bit of a variety. I'm sure they're going to have some specific strats for these maps that we have coming up. The first up being Clamblets on Museum.
Ooh.
This is a tough one. Well, to me, it's tough. I don't just like playing as a Splatling on this map. If there's a charger on their team, it's like, well, I'm gonna sit here until my team takes out that charger.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is quite open in the middle.
But once you get established as a backline on that mid spinner thing, that you're so good. That's all
Absolutely.
you do.
Yeah, the spinner in mid is nice, both for backlines and for crabs as well, and especially for Clamblets where you really want to push onto the enemy plat. You know, zones, you got the zone in the middle, you can just hold that for all it's worth, but you got to be able to push in for Clamblets.
Yes, definitely. Now, we were talking earlier, pump track, about left side and right side when you want to push in. And I feel like Museum is another one of those where you always see people going to the right, and it's so easy. You got the ramp that you can just go up. Where on the left side, you really have to be sneaky, otherwise you're just going to be seen before you get very far.
Yes, exactly. Like you got the sprint on the one hand or the marathon on the other hand. If you get a nice wipeout, you definitely want to go for the sprint, but you know, just being able to set up on that ramp and get your special going to be able to just kind of build a wall for yourself so you're not just taken down immediately. Like that's what we're going to be seeing a lot of teams go for.
Yeah, definitely. I remember in earlier Splatoon 3 days where that was a really good place to have a vacuum. Just as you're trying to climb up that ramp, just have your vacuum going so you're just kind of invincible as you try and push forward to get to the basket.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Now we're going to be hopping into this map. The other thing to watch out for, this map has some flanks. We were talking about left and right. You have the far right flank that we can definitely get some cheeky plays if the other team is not paying attention. Oh, okay. I'm just going to call them
heavy edit again.
It looks like Surf and Turf is running a double vanilla shot with the vanilla slosher and the heavy edit for that cooler. Now, Crescent Knight, they got a lot of aggression, but no cooler to back it up, so this might be Surf and Turf's win as far as the aggression game goes.
Yeah, it looks like Surf and Turf is grouping up really well on the right here. They're able to get up that ramp like we were talking about earlier, able to establish themselves pretty early. Oh, but it doesn't look like they have enough clams to... Oh, no, they do have a power clam. What am I talking about? They're ready. They're pushing up. They're able to get pretty far here.
They are now getting their power clan number 2, so they have quite a few points in their pockets, but the Zooka shot coming out, just cleaning up, saying, nope, you don't get to use it today.
Ooh, Surf and Turf had a really good position there, but it doesn't look like they were able to coordinate to push up together. They were just picked off very slowly. Now they have to go back and try and hold their flat against Crescent Knight.
Yeah, Surf and Turf, they had those specials, they had that positioning, but then when they went in to use them, the Crescent Knight backed up just a bit, so they were able to survive it and then respond with their own specials, and then Surf and Turf just kind of went down after that. But Crescent Knight is getting a taste of their own medicine. A nice double here from Magnus. And now that's just going to be a nice opening for Surf and Turf to get that basket.
It looks like they're coordinating pretty well to make that power slam here. They're in the right position, and they were able to score it in. Let's see if Surf and Turf can get any more points off this. They've got 3 up here on the enemy team's plat. 1 goes down. They still have slams here. They could score in. Oh, and they're able to. They got some more in right here.
That was absolutely huge. 3 down on Crescent Knight. The last one of Surf and Turf up, able to throw a few more clams in, and they're still able to keep the basket open.
Yeah. I'm amazed because you do keep seeing Surf and Turf go down just one at a time, but because there's still one person there to hold it, they can still jump in, they can still get some clams in, they can still score some points.
That's exactly right. Crescent Knight finally able to just put it into that push down to 47. Surf and Turf losing a member, and so Crescent Knight is just taking back a lot of map control with this.
Ooh, it looks like Surf and Turf has got a lot of the clams on their side. Maybe they can group together, build something, try and push forward a little bit, but it looks like they're backed into their own corner here.
This is a bit of a, I don't know, a stalemate right now. Both teams just losing members and just getting these really scrappy firefights right now. Crescent Knight still maintaining a lot of mid control, a lot of paint, but Surf and Turf is slowly building their momentum back. They got the power clams, they're getting their specials as well. If they're able to pop those strikes or Zooka, Crescent Knight better watch out.
And the only hard part for Crescent Knight is even if they do get that advantage and they're able to push up on the enemy's plat, they really don't have the clams to do anything with it.
No, I guess we were going back and forth. It's like, clamless, if you don't have the clams, you got no objective.
Yep. It's definitely a balance. You gotta think of all the things at once. You gotta, you know, be aggressive enough to push up, but then also take control of the clam economy.
Surf and Turf is doing an excellent job of both right now. Up to 20 clams in their pocket. They did lose their shot in one of their power clams, but they're making their way back to Crescent Knight's plat, taking down the brush, surviving the Zook shots perhaps, and going for the basket, but get shut down again.
They're really trying there. They're trying to space, but Crescent Knight is able to pace it back up so quickly that they really just have to go quickly. And Chrissy did right here. Surf and Turf got another power clam in. There are 3 Surf and Turf members on the plat of Crescent Knight. They're able to score a few more points here. And there's still clams up here, so maybe they can get even more points.
Crescent Knight has been doing a good job of just building a wall to keep Surf and Turf out, but Surf and Turf is just throwing themselves against that wall, and it looks like it finally broke. Down to 5 points and only the heavy edit remaining. They can possibly get this in. There's clams right there on the plat, and they have Cooler in their possession, but looks like they're going to be playing it safe. They have only 30 seconds left, and right now Crescent Knight has yet to open up the basket.
I feel like the advantage that Surf and Turf has is they're very slippery. So even when Crescent Knight does seemingly have an advantage, if one Surf and Turf member is still up there, they're able to build enough clams to get more points.
That is very true. It's just the one member of Surf and Turf is just enough to keep them kind of off balance, keep them from being able to get a good footing to push in. But Surf and Turf is just going to kind of keep them locked away. Chrissy coming with the flank right under the basket, but they're going to be able to just run it. But all they got to do is get past the worst.
They got it! Oh, they got it! Good job, Surf and Turf. They got that final power clam and ending overtime, and the game goes to them.
Like, to Crescent Knight's, they did get some really good plays, and they had a lot of map control in mid for a while, but just again, they just weren't pushing the objective like they needed to, and Surf and Turf just brought it back to bite them because of that.
They needed more control of the map. They needed to pick up more clams. I think because Surf and Turf had that control, they were able to continue making power clams, continue to push forward, and to score.
That is true. Surf and Turf did a good job of collecting a lot of those power clams, so they were able to time it with the spawning, so Crescent Knight really didn't have any clams when they spawned. But they will have to worry about that in this next one. Zones on Hagglefish Market.
Ooh, Zones on Hagglefish. Now, this is a tough one, because I feel like because it is a hallway map, you just have to rush to mid and then try and survive afterward, after like because the enemy team can go from the left or the right. You just kind of you have to hold, but then you have to be very afraid.
That is true. And like you really got to be able to keep control of your side of mid because once you do get locked out, it's a lot harder to break out, especially for zones because zones is the complete opposite of clamp. You can just paint the zone, push forward, and completely forget about an objective for like a good minute and a half, and then you're done.
Yeah, I feel like it's what's the word? It makes you feel safe that there are a lot of higher up spots further back. But if you just hold those further back spots, you can't reach mid at all. Like it doesn't seem as helpful as you would think it would be.
Nah, like for something like tower control, when the enemy has to come to you, maybe. But yeah, for zones, it's like you have to be able to push out from the high ground, be able to retake some of the low ground.
And in a mode like Splat Zones, you don't even have to go up that far. Once you take the zone, you could just kind of chill out, maybe go a little bit more forward to try and push out the enemy, but you don't have to go as far back.
Exactly. Now, we did see some pretty aggressive comps in Clamblitz in the last match. We did see a Splatling as well, so there is a chance, there's a possibility we might see a backline Splatling. I know Zone's Hagglefish in particular is notorious for the vanilla ballpoint with that inkjet.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I know that the great backline spot is up there on that like hut, that tent, and I hope that gets taken advantage of by one or both of these teams.
We are about to find out. It looks like Crescent Knight still going with that aggressive comp, and so is Surf and Turf opting for a Anarchy Nova for their inkjet.
Wow, and I see, is that the Dreadbringer? Is that what it's called? Is that the bucket there? Hello. I'm still here. I think IMAD is gone for the moment, so... Let's see, I see Serpent Turf is holding the zone right now. They're pretty aggressive, pushing up against Crescent Knight. I don't see a lot of Crescent Knight members right now. They're probably holding back a little bit. Serpent Turf using these specials to further hold Crescent Knight back. Although it looks like, we got some aggressive crab from the Crescent Knight. Although Serpent Turf is still able to keep his own painted in their color. Crescent Knight able to take the zone back from Serpent Turf. It looks like they're pushing up a little bit, even though they only have a couple members up here right now. Now that they have 3, maybe they can hold off against Serpent Turf's coming back. We've got some specials on the side of Serpent Turf. Maybe they can coordinate together to get back into mid. Oh, it looks like they did with the Reef Slider and the Tri-Strikes here. They're able to paint the color back for Serpent Turf.
Oh my gosh, what am I doing here?
Oh, it's Grace!
Hi! Oh my gosh,
Hello.
IMAD's internet just exploded, but I'm so happy to be here. I love Surf and Turf, and they're holding the zone really, really well right now. Unfortunately, they do go down, so this looks like it's going to be Crescent Knight's moment to shine here, 6.
Yeah, it looks like they're able to take zone back in their favor. Although, it looks like Surf and Turf is able to hold them off for a little bit. Although, there are more Crescent Knight players here being able to push up with that crab.
Oh my god, that crab gets, an entire wipe. Nice job, Surf and Turf there. That was a really beautiful retake. Honestly, that crab just got immediately shredded by those strikes. It's pretty nice to see the reign of crab coming to an end here, 6.
Oh, definitely. Those Tri-Strikes just destroyed that thing. It looks like Surf and Turf has enough players to be able to push up a little bit. Although, I think I hear, oh yeah, I hear the Zooka, and a lot of specials are coming out from the front, the Crescent Knight. They're really trying to be aggressive here to get that zone in their color.
Oh my goodness, I don't know if Imad's in here yet, but I'm just gonna keep talking. Oh my god!
For the end!
Whoa!
Wow!
Just in
Okay.
time! The Sea Serpent Turf! Take the zone!
Wow, I was gone for like 2 seconds and Surfer Turf just completely locked it down.
They're just speedy, I guess. They were able to hold off against Crescent Knight well enough.
That's gonna be game 2 for Surfer Turf, and from what I can see here, they had a lot of paint in the end game. Just like the 3 down as well, they just completely sealed the deal for them.
I feel like there was a lot more back and forth in that game against Crescent Knight than there was in the Clan Blitz. There were a lot of coordinated specials on the side of Crescent Knight, and because you don't push up very far in splat zones, Surf and Turf was just kind of out there, able to get picked off, but they were still able to hold it. They were still able to get that knockout.
That makes sense, because it was the clam economy that Crescent Knight was struggling with in that first match. So when they don't have to worry about the zone quite as much, they're free to be a little bit more aggressive than they were, but it just wasn't quite enough, it seems like. Surf and Turf still coming out on top for that one.
And now that we're going to tower control on Sturgeon, I'm thinking that same kind of aggression is going to be used here. The same kind of coordinated specials. And on Sturgeon, that's also really hard. This is another one where you can get stalled out once you get to that second checkpoint really well, because it's lower than everything else. So you can just fire bombs at it from above, or have a back line just shooting directly at the tower.
Oh, absolutely. If you thought Hagglefish was hard to break out of, you haven't seen Sturgeon yet. Like, not only do you have that high ground to come back from, but enemy, if they can take control of your snipe, they now also have high ground to fight you with. So, like, you get a charger, a crab up there, you can't drop into your court, so you just have, like, a dead zone where you can't move until you take them out.
Yep. The number of times I've been, like, when you drop down too fast, where you think your court is safe, and then it is clearly not. Too often. This happened too often.
That's what leads to the snowball effect for tower control on this map. It's like once you get some really good positions as the attacking team, you're able to just coast along with that tower.
And I'm thinking that's what they're probably going to do here. Either side, they both had very, very good specials. The crab on Hagglefish was very well used. And I like seeing crab on Sturgeon put in some pretty interesting places. There are a lot of teams that like to, just crab on the tower, but I like seeing it in like hidden places, harder to get to places.
Oh, absolutely. But we're gonna be hopping in here once again. Like, I didn't get a chance to see the glorious comps that we had before, but Crescent Knight hasn't really changed up too much.
Oh.
We're gonna be seeing a vanilla blaster coming out from Surf and Turf.
Let's go. I love blasters. Blasters are one of my very favorite weapons, and especially on tower control, they are so fun because it's very easy to just delete whoever is on tower. Just face the blaster at them, they're gone.
Oh, absolutely. But it looks like they're the ones being deleted now.
Ooh.
Surf and Turf, that crab is really cleaning them up. So Crescent Knight, they got the early shot at this tower.
Yeah, they're basically learning from their past mistakes. They're learning to be aggressive. They're learning to push up earlier and keep Surf and Turf out.
Indeed, like if they're able to keep this momentum up, like they're pushed up really well right now. And that's going to be the first checkpoint out of the way. They just got to survive the Zooka shots, and they got 2 of them just absolutely destroy the Tower Rider.
Yeah, that's so tough being in that corner. You really don't have anywhere to hide from those Zooka shots like that.
No, you don't. And the Crab does get the nice pick off the shot, but they do get cleaned up themselves. So now Surf and Turf has control of the bridge area and a shot at the tower themselves.
It looks like they've got some specials stored up. The Blaster uses their bubble here to help their tower player get some more points. I'm looking forward to seeing the Zooka come out, seeing it be a little more aggressive against Crescent Knight.
Yes, Bubbler is still a staple for tower control, even in the midst of the strikes, able to just delete it out of existence. But, you know, you can't delete anything if you're sent back to spawn. That's going to be 3 members of Crescent Knight down, and Surfer Turf just completely flipped the script here, now in some really good positioning of their own.
Yeah, I'm really impressed by Surfer and Turf able to take so much space. They were pushed pretty far back. Even now, they're still only a little bit ahead of mid, but they were still able to push the tower so far.
Got all the way to the second checkpoint and did take the lead off of that. Crescent Knight was able to hold them off, but they lost 2 of their 3 members again.
Ooh.
Surfer Turf able to reclaim the tower before it moves too far. That's definitely going to be a lot of the second checkpoint out of the way.
Oh, it looks like Surf and Turf is able to paint really well here, able to establish themselves a little bit better than their earlier push. Doesn't seem like Crescent Knight is able to get rid of him on the right there.
Yeah, this is getting dangerous for Crescent Knight. There's no checkpoint stand between Surfer Turf and the KO. They are able to pop the tower. They're able to just keep it alive, throw some strikes, and that's going to be the last remaining member of Surfer Turf jumping out. But once again, 5 points. That's close to a knockout that Crescent Knight's got to make now.
I'm so impressed by the crab play by Crescent Knight. It's so risky to crab on tower like that. Your back can be so exposed easily. But they were able to hold it out. They were able to keep Surf and Turf from keeping their push going.
Yeah, I can see the logic there. It's hard to get on a tower that is holding a giant tank on it.
That's very true.
So right now, Crescent Knight, they're back for round 2. Crab is out once again. They could definitely bring this back with the position they have. They're just going to have to watch out because Surf and Turf, we saw them just pop those specials and completely shut them down. Right now, they're not online yet, but they will have them soon. If they even need them.
It looks like, oh, Crescent Knight is trying so hard to keep this tower push going, but 3 get taken down, and Surf and Turf is able to reestablish their place here in mid.
Yeah, Surf and Turf able to shut down Crescent Knight's push without having to pop too many specials, but they lose half their team in the process, so now it's split pretty even. And we have a minute and a half left, so Crescent Knight, they have still a chance. They have a lot of paint control in mid. Now they gotta be able to stop Surf and Turf from stopping them pretty much.
Definitely. Looks like Crescent Knight is really trying against all these specials. It's gonna be hard to hold. But it looks like they're doing it. They're managing here.
They're able to get the splat off the shots, but they lose their own shot in the process. Like this is kind of what has been bringing them down. It's like they're getting these really good splats on Surf and Turf, but they lose them in a trade as well. So it's like they don't have the manpower to really back up after that advantage. Surf and Turf bringing it back to their side of the map with only 4 seconds remaining. They could potentially KO this, but honestly, they only need to play for time at this point.
Yeah, exactly. They don't need the KO. They're already winning. And it doesn't look like Crescent Knight is able to coordinate enough to bring it back.
That's going to be just a shot remaining. No
Oh, no!
to save them. Surf and Turf gaining a KO for their nice 3-0 of the set.
Wow.
That's going to be
impressive. That's another 3-0. The other 2 were also 3-0.
I was going to say, it's our third
3-0.
Like, it was definitely close in a lot of these engagements, but it's definitely a bit having the advantage of the one team. In this case, Surf and Turf, like, they were able to just get more out of their engagements more often, and that's what allowed them to get these KOs that they've been getting.
I feel like they were able to coordinate a little bit better than Crescent Knight were able to. Like, both were able to fight as teams, but I feel like Crescent Knight was getting picked off very slowly, whereas maybe Surf and Turf was as well, but because they had one player still established in a good position, they were able to come back really easily.
That's true. That is very true. I think also, like, when they did have the advantage, that they were so quick to capitalize off it and push forward with the objective, but then Crescent Knight was a little bit slower in their approach. Like, they didn't quite take full advantage of it as well as Surf and Turf did, so that allows Surf and Turf to come back and be able to build up some of those defensive specials and positioning.
I feel like I saw a lot of the time Surf and Turf might not have even had specials to fight against Crescent Knight, but they were still aggressive. They were still coordinated enough that they were able
Right.
to last against them.
Yeah, exactly. Like in that last push by Crescent Knight, Surfer just went full Hail Mary on them. Didn't even need specials. Just dropped on them from their ledges and just took them out.
It's so impressive to know your own team and your own play styles well enough to know that, okay, we can still be aggressive here. We can still do this. We can still hold.
Well, the key there was like they didn't approach the tower in a conga line. They came at
Yeah.
came at the tower from so many different directions that Crescent Knight didn't know how to respond. They just weren't able to shoot in every direction at once.
Gosh, having been on teams myself, I have no idea how you coordinate going at the same thing from so many different angles. Just, I guess, a lot of practice, a lot of trust in your teammates.
I love the ready, set, get 'em technique. But that's
Ooh.
going to be the end of our pool. So take a look at the bracket right now. I'm seeing a lot of 3-0s on the board. Like, what is everyone's been
Wow.
feeling good or not? Like, it's no in between.
Yeah, I only see a couple that were 2-1s. Gosh, that I feel like that never happens.
I think going into the set with Goobers there, Goobers lost to Take Your Meds, but Take Your Meds had to drop. That is so unfortunate.
I know.
Yeah, just basically that in 2 other games with a 1-2. So that's gonna be tough going into Great White because we only have so many slots, but a lot of teams have been doing exceptionally well this time around.
Yeah, I suppose I don't really know how this system works. So who goes into the next? How do they decide that?
Typically, Great White is comprised of all the teams that didn't drop a set in their pool. So, like, if we have one team from every single group that has gone 3-0 in their sets, not just their matches, that typically fills out most of Great White. And then you'll have, like, a supplementary of 2-1s that fill in the last couple of slots as well. But for now, before we get on to the finals bracket, we have some seating to do, some setup. So we'll be going to another short break, or possibly a short-ish, longer break. Who knows? But stay tuned, stay hydrated. We'll be right back.
But now, Jake, you are stacking on a ton of damage, and the crowd goes wild. A lot of special being unleashed on this one right now. Very, very nice sniper. Nice double sniper.
Oh! Smoke, and that uses up his invincibility time. Here's the answer. There's the dunk, and Cake Assault wins.
Hello everyone, we are back with our top cut. First round, Black Excellence versus Eepy Dreepy. It is I, Mad Gamer II, joined once again by 6.
Hello. Ooh, I'm excited to see Eepy Dreepy again go up against this team. I do not know much of Black Excellence except for Adapt plays Bucket, is what I've been told.
Indeed, Adapt is... I can't think of his team name right now, but he has played in quite a few SOSs and done incredibly well. Is a Bucket main. We're going to be seeing a lot of slosher out of them, I think. Apple is also fairly familiar. I want to say Brush main, but that doesn't sound entirely correct, so we'll put that on hold for now. And of course, we know what Eepy Dreepy is bringing.
That's true. Except I completely forgot everything that Eepy Dreepy brought.
I remember that Dev played a lot of Splatling. That is what I mainly focused on last time.
Okay. I think there was a charger involved at some point.
Yes, and I think some dualies as well. Of course, I would not be surprised if we saw some NZAP either, so that's probably a given. Although, do we see Dev bring out the heavy edit for their cooler in one match?
Oh, that's right, and we were very impressed by that because that was one of the first times we saw the heavy edit being used.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and then they play ballpoint with a Tri-Slosher for the... Yeah, Tri-Slosher Nouveau for the cooler then. So we know there's also a Bucket player on Eepy Dreepy, which we should know because we just saw them play.
That's okay, we've seen a lot of matches. That's fine if we don't remember everything about everyone. That's what people writing things down are for.
I meant to write things down, then I forgot my pen. But anyway, Rainmaker Manta Maria is going to be our first match of the set. First set of Great White, our finals.
Manta Maria again. Looking forward to seeing that. Looking forward to seeing some sneaky flanks on this map.
Indeed. Now, one thing I did forget to mention at the beginning, like we said, that this SOS is a giant practice run for players and commentators alike for Riptide this weekend, but I also didn't mention that the map set, the map pool, everything that we're seeing here is also going to be used in Riptide, so looking forward to that. But we're going to be jumping in here once again, not surprised with the Bucket for Adapt, and we're seeing a ballpoint alongside it, and a return of the heavy edit.
Hey, let's go! Ooh, I'm liking these team comps from both sides. They're both a little different, both got their own things going on. I want to see how they coordinate together, how they're able to make pushes happen.
Looks like it's going to be Black Excellence getting the first pop, a lot of paint in their favor, and 2 members of Eepy Dreepy down. That's going to open up their streak quite a bit, but they're going to be going to the right. Okay.
Ooh. Yeah, it's one of those you don't see very often because on the left there's the path to take directly to the Rainmaker pedestal. But you take the right here, it's a little more risky. You gotta make that jump, you gotta make sure that no one's aiming at you. And it looks like when Black Excellence just tried it, they weren't able to get over that jump there.
Also, like, despite the fact that it's definitely the spicy play, they had their whole team pushed up on the street and they decided to go right. I feel like there's a bit of a miscommunication there, but they are going to be getting the checkpoint now after a delayed wipe off of Eepy Dreepy. And now they just have an Ancient and a Crab just neck deep in their base right now.
I almost feel like all of Black Excellence was pushed up a little bit too much there. It seemed like all 4 of them were keeping Eepy Dreepy back, and none of them were going after the Rainmaker until one noticed this and pulled back, but it might have been too late as most of them are getting picked off now by Eepy Dreepy.
You are so right. They had all 4 of their members pushed up, but once again, they forgot the objective. They didn't get any points until the last second. By then, we saw just a well-placed Zooka to take out the Rainmaker carrier.
Ooh. People keep going for the right here. They're so risky. Oh no! What an unfortunate camera pan. Oh goodness.
Just a little bonk off the Rainmaker into the abyss, and now Eepy Dreepy is going to be getting that checkpoint over the spicy route at that. But that's going to come at the cost of Black Excellence. They got a lot of map control off of that play.
Is spicy route the call out? Is that official?
If it hasn't already, I might start using it now.
I'm definitely gonna use it now. I'm keeping that.
It doesn't matter which side it is. If it's not the usual path, it's spicy. But Eepy Dreepy, they're gonna get the pop off of this, so that's gonna give them a lot of map control. But just Black Excellence has a lot of presence right now. Not to mention they have a Crab and Inkjet on play, so that's gonna be
Ooh.
2 of Eepy Dreepy down.
Yeah, it looks like Black Excellence is doing very well with kind of fanning out, keeping space both forward and like vertically, just being able to be anywhere that Eepy Dreepy is trying to get them.
Indeed, but I feel like Eepy Dreepy hasn't lost just yet, just because of what you said earlier. Black Excellence is doing well at being aggressive, but almost too aggressive. They just once again left their Rainmaker behind, and now Eepy Dreepy has it, and a lot of map control on top of that, so 45, they got to get through the rest of the street to get that lead back, which right now Black Excellence has a lot of defensive presence in, but it's not untakeable.
I'm so, like, I don't know, I suppose impressed that both teams are going for the spicy route. Like, I would think that that's the harder of the routes and hasn't been working very well thus far, but they still keep going for it.
I feel like, again, it's a matter of marathon over sprint, and they keep going for that sprint because Black Excellence is all set up to defend the marathon. It's just, they're not quite expected for it, but as you said, it's difficult to make it, so even when they do finally notice it, they can just take it down real quick.
Ooh, this crab fight here was really interesting to see. I'm surprised that the crab didn't get taken out because of the position there, but oh, it looks like the Eepy Dreepy member goes down. They're still trying to push here. Oh, Eepy Dreepy, I think they get the lead here, and they get. Oh, but the Black Excellence gets the wipeout, so maybe they can hold and get their back.
Yeah, that little scuffle with the crab was all a distraction. Like, most of Black Excellence's focus was on that side, and they just kind of snuck in and took the lead out from underneath them. Going into this last minute, Black Excellence has to take that lead back, but they have a lot of map control to get themselves set up for it, and we saw how aggressive they can be.
Yeah, that crab fight had me distracted. Everything was happening so fast after that. They just, gosh, it worked as a distraction. It did what it was supposed to do.
See, now, like, they had the map control, but they're in a really tough spot of B just sitting in their back corner. I think they knew they were there, but they just weren't able to find them enough to stop them. But they do finally take them out with the 15 seconds remaining. 2 of Eepy Dreepy coming back from spawn, but there is that Zooka online. All they gotta do is get one well-placed shot when they pick it up, and that's gonna be game.
Oh gosh. Let's see if Black Excellence can hold out. That's 2 down on the side of Eepy Dreepy. They're pushing in the street here. It looks like they're having a tough time going forward. Oh, Black Excellence gets the pick. Well, that's 3 down on the side of Eepy Dreepy. I think this could be a win for Black Excellence. Let's go!
Finally able to get the wipeout off of Eepy Dreepy. B went for another flank to try to take out the Maker, but was shut down, so Black Excellence holding strong and able to just get the last remaining points they need for the lead.
Wow. I'm just impressed that Black Excellence did not give up. They continued that push. They had hope for themselves. They knew that they could push through if they just were able to coordinate and hold out a little bit longer.
Oh, absolutely. Like, that's the mindset you gotta have. Even when you're in overtime with a deficit, like, you gotta keep pushing forward and keep your cool, keep your game plan set.
Alright, now next we see Clan Blitz on Barnacle and Dime. I haven't seen a lot of Barnacle and Dime play, but I know for Clan Blitz this is a tough one, as the basket for both sides is kind of down in a pit, so it's easy to get locked out of there.
Oh yes, I think the way that I've heard someone describe it as, like, you gotta approach this map mode in stages. Like, first you gotta take mid, then you gotta set up for the enemy court, and then you can take basket, just because, like, you have a lot of defensive presence for mid, but then when the enemy is coming back from spawn, they can still, like, really drop on that basket, keep you from opening the basket if you're not careful.
Yeah, that's true. Gosh, that's a good way to look at it, that it's in stages. But because it is really like that, you can't move past mid until you have mid, like, control. And then you can't go more forward to get into that pit until you have more control over that area, otherwise you're just going to get picked off from above.
And it tends to work out a lot for some of these hallway maps, but for Barnacle Dime in particular, just the way it's set up, like, you have certain positions you want to take, and it leads into a bit of a choke point as you get closer to the enemy base.
It's just, it feels like you start out really high, then you go low, and then you go kind of in the middle. But there's a lot of flank routes that you just don't think about when you're pushing mid. There's a lot of different pits and raised areas that you just have to remember that they're there so you don't get flanked.
Exactly. Like you can, I think for zones you can do pretty well just locking out just across from zone. You don't really have to push in too far, but with clam, like you do have to watch for those flanks, as you said, because you get into this kind of bowl when you're going for the basket.
It's almost deceptive because it looks like a hallway in that there's sort of a straight ahead path to get to the basket from mid, but if you do that, you're gonna get picked off really quick because there's so many places to hide for the enemy.
For sure. Now, of course, we've been seeing Black Excellence. They use the Crab and the Inkjet pretty effectively on Rainmaker, but it's going to come into play here as well. Now, we talked about that first stage of taking the enemy snipe. I feel like that's going to be a key position for that Crab user, and then just to have the Inkjet to be able to use it to move in and take out some of those sneaky defensive spots.
Gosh, I feel like I have to write down these team comps because as soon as they get played and then the next game happens, it's like, oh, look at all these weapons I don't remember were being played earlier. There's just too many weapons, too many matches, too many to remember. I just remember the teams played and one of them won.
It is hard to keep track of all, but there's always something like the pinnacle, the spear point of every single comp, something that the comp is built around. Most of the time it's cooler. You just give your own cooler and rush in like zombies, but you know, like the Inkjet is another big one for a while. It's like that is the opener. You pop that, you're able to just move in with the high ground and a lot of pressure. And we're going to be seeing the Inkjet come back with Zen on that ball point. Now Dev is choosing to stick with that heavy edit, so they're going to have the cool on that side, and they're bringing out the new Neos machine for that point sensor and Zooka.
Oh, it's an early Crab on the side of Eepy. They're just trying to hold back Black Excellence. Oh, but a few of their members go down. That Crab did not do enough for them, and now Black Excellence is very well establishing themselves on the side of Dreepy.
Yeah, that was quite an early Crab. They wanted to help support their teammates, but just they got taken down so quickly they didn't have time to really do much about it. Taking down one of the Black Excellence, but Black Excellence has opened up the basket. Not too much follow up right now, but if Eepy Dreepy goes down, and they do, Black Excellence is going to keep pretty solid control on mid.
Yeah, it looks like because they do have all this paint control behind them, they're able to collect clams really quickly and build another tower almost before the last basket timer was even up.
Oh, absolutely. Like that. This is why taking this position right here is so key. Is like it's basically the gateway between the enemy base and the mid area. Black Excellence does go 3 down, so Eepy is gonna break out only to lose 3 of their members to the Wiper. A clutch play to keep Black Excellence in control of mid, and so they just gotta have the rest of their team coming to clean up the remaining one. Wow, that was such a good play.
Impressive. You don't usually see a 1v3 go that way, but Black Excellence was able to, keep Eepy Dreepy from going any farther than mid there.
Now they have clans with again. Eepy Dreepy just kind of push back into their base. Black Excellence not quite has the power climb online just yet, but it is going to, and it is. Now they just gotta, they use their specials pretty early just to take this position, so they don't have anything really to push the basket just yet. So all they gotta do is kind of survive what Eepy Dreepy is throwing out at them, and then just eat their way forward.
Yeah, it looks like they're able to get picks even holding back like they are. They're able to get 3 down on the side of Eepy Dreepy. That was a delayed wipe there. Black Excellence doesn't have a lot of clams to score now, but it looks like one of them is going back because of all that paint control that they still have. They're able to go freely back and get some more clams.
They are indeed. They're bringing it down to 50 points here, just kind of trickling them in a little bit at a time. They don't have a whole lot, but they really have a lot of their manpower just dedicated to keeping Eepy Dreepy at bay right now. That's going to be a wipe on them, and Adapt is holding position way up in this left corner here. Like Eepy Dreepy is not going to be moving forward on that side for a while. Well, I say that, they just move forward.
I think Adapt was just running out of paint there. But then once they got their special, they were able to, they're able to go back and get all these picks. Wow, another wipeout. And Black Excellence is still on the side, really close to the basket. They're not going anywhere.
They're not going anywhere, but they're not going anywhere in the way they want to go either. They don't have, well, they are able to find some clams that just spawned in, but it's just, again, they're so much aggressive presence is put on Eepy Dreepy that they don't have much going in for mode, or so the objective, until they just threw in 2 power clams. Alright, he's down to 19.
Yeah, I'm saying because they still have that paint control. They can still have one person go back and build a clam while the other 3 just keep Eepy Dreepy from getting any farther up. I'm really impressed by how well they're able to hold the other team off. Like, they cannot move from this area at all.
And be able to do that, just the speed of being able to switch places, adapt, and change about your positioning as you're doing that as well, just goes to show how far Black Excellence is going with this. Get it down to 10. They do lose half their team. Oh no, sorry, that's going to be Eepy Dreepy going down a wipeout again. Black Excellence just completely shutting down any attempt to break out of their base.
And I was thinking here with the well-coordinated specials on the side of Eepy Dreepy that they were finally going to be able to get out somewhere, but I think maybe they were trying to get out too quickly, that they were able to get picked off so well. But even now, only one member of Black Excellence was up. They're not able to push too much yet. Although they are past mid a little bit, they're going to have to take that advantage very quickly, otherwise Black Excellence is going to push them out again.
That's right, this is the first time we're seeing Eepy Dreepy in control of mid, and Black Excellence a snipe, but they are down 2 members, and this crab is alone with a power clam, and they're going to be sent back to spawn. No one's around to really pick up that power clam, and because Black Excellence is just completely locking down that area. They're able to pick it up to keep it alive, but overtime is in effect. The Inkjet cleaning up the carrier, and it's just a splash going down as well. Only 15 seconds of overtime remaining. This is going to be Black Excellence taking it up to a nice 2-0 and moving on in Great White.
Yeah, Eepy Dreepy was trying to hold on to that last power clam there, but they were going in one at a time when Black Excellence was already well established in mid and were able to keep picking them off as they jumped in.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, Six. Like, not only is taking a 1v1 engagement against a bucket difficult enough, but if you go up against a ball point without any specials, or any backline for that matter, you're just going to be simply outranged and outgunned before you can even get to them. Like, you have to be able to displace the backline if you don't have a backline of your own, and to do that with specials before you're able to move in. It just, Eepy Dreepy didn't have a chance to do that, or rather, as you said, they just were moving in so quickly, they didn't give themselves a chance to build up any specials or counter push.
Yeah, I think they were just getting too excited whenever they had any sort of lead. They do need to move quickly against Black Excellence because they were able to coordinate so well, but you have to do it quickly, and you also have to do it very well planned out, because otherwise you're just going to get picked off, and that's what happened.
Exactly. But that is going to be the end of that set. As we are in the Great White, we are no longer in the play all 3 territory, so no zones, Umami Ruins, unfortunately. But looking at the bracket so far, who is moving on to round 2, we have the 7th Heaven taking out Sweet Tooth, another SOS heavy hitter. They will be going up against Black Excellence next. And then I have with the Zooka sub versus E Velocity question mark. And then below them, Enrage minus Jeff versus Captain Happy Crew, another returnee.
What does it mean?
I don't know. And we're waiting on No Wiping versus Orca Ballestra to go against Zenith SPL Cat Fan Club.
Love these names. Keep them coming. I love them every time.
We love them indeed. But yeah, we're just the last set of round 1 to go. 1-1 versus No Wiping Orca Ballestra. We have to be looking forward to see what comes out on top, but unfortunately this is going to be end of Six and I's run. We'll be swapping over commentators for these last 3 remaining rounds of Great White. So before we sign off, Six, where can the good people find you?
The good people can find me on Twitter, and I suppose TikTok as well. Just look for @MissPixie6. You can basically find me anywhere.
And also at Riptide this weekend?
Oh, and also at Riptide. I'm also commentating at Riptide. Please watch me. I'm gonna be so great. And so is Imad, you are also going to be at Riptide.
Indeed, I'm going to be at Riptide, both commentating and playing. You'll probably see me on both sides of the stream at some point this weekend. But if not there, you can also find me here on IPL. I do SOS pretty regularly, and also on all the usual places of Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube at ImadGamerII. But for the time being, we're going to be passing on to another set of commentators. So as we go into the short break, you all have a good night and stay tuned.
Bye.
But now, Jake, you are stacking on a ton of damage, and the crowd goes wild. A lot of special being unleashed on this zone right now. Very, very nice snipe. Nice double snipe. Oh!
Smoke, and that uses up his invincibility time. Here's the answer. There's the dunk, and Cake Assault wins.
Hello, welcome back to SOS 121. We are in quarterfinals here in the Great White Bracket and watching Orca Ballestra versus Zenith Cat Fan Club. I'm here with Broken Binky and we're going to be having a great time.
Yeah, we're having a grand old time. Zenith SBL Cat Fan Club might have a score to settle here because Orca Ballestra to get here actually just beat No Wiping, which is a team that Zenith is on alongside some other really good players in Jisha and Goss. So Orca Ballestra having an incredible tournament run right now, trying to get through the second round of Great White here, but Zenith Cat Fan Club, certainly a strong team in their own right. I'd recognize a few names here in Kingja and Redcap, so this is bound to be a great set. I'm excited to see what we have coming up, and what we have coming up is some good old-fashioned TC Inkblot.
I think you heard it, but when I heard that Orca Ballestra was in Great White and was continuing to go forward, like made it past round one, made it past that team, I was like, oh, I'm very excited to see how this goes. But yeah, TC Inkblot, vanilla ice cream of the Splatoon maps.
I mean, vanilla ice cream is pretty solid. I don't remember if it won that Splatfest.
It's basic, but it is solid, and so that's why it's played a lot. That's why it's picked a lot, you know, etc., etc. The meta has shifted a little bit since the new season started. Do you think we'll be seeing any of the new weapons here?
I definitely think the weapon or the new weapon that we have the highest probability of seeing is going to be that heavy edit splatling. Really just jumped in at a great time when Tacticooler's at an all-time high, and zap stocks are down, so you need a good, mid-liney paint support option that can just spam Tacticoolers. So you have that heavy edit at your disposal. We have some other, good tools that just came out, such as Ballpoint Nuvo, Sorella, and even some Neo Machine usage, so it'll be exciting to see. But regardless, we are going to get right into the swing of things here. Game 1 of round 2 of the Great White Bracket between Orca Ballestra and Zenith Cat Fan Club.
King John, known for playing roller, is still on that roller, and we do see a Squiffer, which is not a weapon you see all too often with that bubble. I can see it being fairly useful here, having a little bit of a tower control niche.
I mean, yeah, I love seeing some good Squiffer usage. It's definitely, one of the cooler charges we see, just able to take on such a unique role. We see Jade trying to make the best come of it, but here comes King Joe with that roller. Gets that nice headshot, though. Jade couldn't quite defend themselves versus the splash that came into flank, but Zenith Cat Fan Club is 2 dead right now. Orca Ballestra is on the pursuit here, but that crab is going to be, the defense here. Tower is going to be slowly pushed, but that crab gets a nice double to, stop that push a little bit in his tracks before Orca Ballestra could get too much done on that first checkpoint.
Crab tank showing it's still got what it takes to be an incredibly powerful special, despite not seeing too much as much usage lately. We are gonna see Zenith Fan Club with that really good defense, bouncing in back almost immediately. They are turning even in mid here, but they are getting the picks that they need to start rebounding. Now that is only one member left alive on Orca Ballestra, but with King Jaw behind them, it's gonna be very difficult for them to stay alive.
Are we just going to ignore that hammer throw that took down the Inkjet, I believe? That was an insane hammer throw.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, that's going to send to the ballpoint right to spawn. With the backline gone, Zenith Cat Fan Club is going to be able to get that lead, and all of a sudden, 2 on Orca Ballestra are down, and they're pretty far back, pretty heavily staggered at this point, and that crab's going to start rolling forward, and we're going to see Peaches join in on the action here in the enemy bats. Hammer is going to get a nice kill. Femi is going to be hanging back with that ballpoint. Hammer throw is going to come out and just put on a little bit more pressure, and yeah, Candy just gets a nice assist here. It's going to be going down to this wiper, but in the meantime, the towers have been pushing ever further, making its way down to that 3rd checkpoint, but it looks like, yeah, that's going to be a wipeout from Orca Ballestra, and they're going to try and regain a bit of mid here.
Yeah, Zenith Fan Club with an incredible push, basically right out of the gate. They were able to set up in the enemy bats, and that's what the name of the game is here on Inkblot Tower Control. Now, Orca Ballestra does have a lot of specials at their disposal, but their Wiper Deco with the missiles at the ready did go down. They are even out here in mid, but the crafting is going to really slow down that push. Femi, though, does have that Inkjet ever so powerful at the ready and is going to be using it right now. Switching over here on the left, trying to corner King Jaw, who is, I believe, going to get a pick before going down, and that jump is just absolutely camped, and that is most of Orca Ballestra's momentum being gone.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Femi and Peta pretty overcommit to that, left drop area, and that just allowed for Zenith Cat Fan Club to take a lot of mid pretty freely, and that jump just got camped, and I mean, a few small mistakes being added onto each other, and that's just going to lead Orca Ballestra being sent all the way back to spawn, force to regroup, but that is going to be a nice pick from Light there with that wiper there. So, I mean, good stuff going on, but it's just a very, even game right now, a very neutral, heavy predicament, and Orca Ballestra trying to break through, but these flanks coming in from Zenith Cat Fan Club are proving very difficult for Orca Ballestra as they try to establish a little bit of control of the situation.
Yeah, they cannot get control when they're looking in all these different directions. They have Jaw behind them, and other players coming from the right, and some coming from the front as well. Just diverting their attention and making sure they can't just look in one spot and pull from that one spot. And that has been really what's just killing the momentum, is just being able to get picked from behind like that. But we are going to be seeing them start to get some picks, start to push up, finally get this left stack really under the control. Ballpoint's going to be hopping on the tower, all coolered up, and that checkpoint is going to be broken.
Yeah, Orca Ballestra finally having a bit of momentum going in their favor, but this is going to be rough. That Viper goes down early. Kingja is set up with inside of that big bubbler, and Femi is going to be chased off by, the whole squad coming in, whole squad rolling in through bats. Big bubbler is going to be set a little bit in the middle of nowhere as Orca Ballestra tries to keep this push going. Inkjet is going to be popped up, but they're going down one by one. It's just Femi on this Inkjet, and that's going to be a land most likely camped by the likes of the Cap Fan Club. And yeah, that push was pretty effectively stuffed before Orca Ballestra could even break that second checkpoint.
But it had a lot more steam than last time. But once again, crucial on this map is getting control of bats, and they just were not quite able to get a stable foothold in there. You see immediately on the side of Zenith Fan Club, when they're pushing, they are immediately going to his bats. Jaw over there camping the ledge does get picked off, though. 2 down on the side of Zenith Cat Fan Club, which means that Orca Ballestra may have time for one more push if they're able to push them out fast enough.
Yeah, I mean, but this is going to be a very do-or-die push. 36 seconds left on the timer, and they still have to get Zenith Cat Fan Club out of their area first. Peter here trying to just move around as much as possible. That Viper proving very challenging. 1 HP is going to get taken down by the teammates. PETA is able to successfully jump out, but I mean, now Orca Ballestra is alerted to, the presence on that right drop area. They're just going to have to try and regain any bit of control they can. Bubbler popped early, though. It's unfortunate for their prospects of the push, and that Zap is going to go down early as well. They have no tactical or very few specials. It's just going to be that Inkjet. They're going to have to just run with it and hope for the best as we head into overtime.
Jaw is behind, but they do seem to notice that, but it does still get a pick on the way before they're able to pop their missiles out, and that's going to be game as the rush for the tower is not quite successful. Orca Ballestra, though, putting up a pretty formidable first fight against the Cat Fan Club. That name is a tongue twister, please.
It's just a little bit awkward. I just love, the goal that all pickups just, non-verbally agree to just make a name that's as difficult to pronounce as possible for, us fellow commentators. But yeah, Zenith SBL Cat Fan Club is able to do an amazing job playing there. I mean, just having that roller and that wiper diving behind you at pretty much all times in the match, anytime you're trying to get a push going, especially backed by cooler respawn, it's just a nightmare to deal with, and Orca Ballestra never really got to establish their footing. So, well played, well executed game plan from the Cat Fan Club here as we, hop, skip, and a jump over to game 2 here on familiar face Rainmaker Humpback Pump Track.
A very, very cheesy map in my opinion. This is one where I fully believe that we will see Femi, not fully believe, I feel like it would be a potentially good move for Femi, that Splatling main who was on the ballpoint last game, to switch to ballpoint Nouveau there, because the absolute, the cheese, the corny strats you can pull off with that ink back, freshly, freshly buffed, is certainly not something to mess with. It can really get you some nice points on the board and make it so where you really just kind of can sit back and defend.
I mean, yeah, VAC is possible to make, a lot of pushes happen, especially in, the more narrow, cramped corridors of Humpback Pump Track, particularly around that, right side checkpoint. But it is worth noting that Zenith SBL Cat Fan Club does have 2 weapons that are capable of dealing melee damage that can just one-shot the VAC, that being the Roller and the Wiper, which
This is true.
I think would be hilarious if we see that in action. I would definitely be hoping for that even just a little bit. But regardless, this is definitely an interesting map. I feel like just the wide open spaces and the access to the sides might just help Zenith Cat's Fan Club, execute their game plan of just dropping behind and being a distraction more than they did on the last map. So Orca Ballestra is really going to have to dig deep and try to find some way to, adapt to the situation, adapt to the enemies at hand, and try and stay in this bracket a little bit longer. They're so close to being in the top 4, but just as close as being knocked out of it. So it's really, an all or nothing situation here for Orca Ballestra.
For sure. Like I said, it's good for them that they made it this far, and I hope that they have the chance to go even further, but they are going to really have to prove themselves. My thoughts on Humpback is just, it's a really interesting map, because you have this very, like you said, wide open spaces out in mid with some really interesting topography, and then you're forced to funnel through a choke point, and basically the only effective way to push. Now we are going to be getting right into it, and let's see if we see any comp changes from this team.
Ooh, we're seeing Candy on the V-try here with some Inkjet action, and we're going to see that Squiffer staying. V ballpoint is also going to stay. I believe the only change on Orca Ballestra's comp is Light going from the Wiper Deco to the Vanilla Wiper, but we're seeing a little bit of changes here on both sides. Actually, just the Wiper being switched out for the Tri-Slasher, I believe, so pretty similar, all things considered. Let's see how this plays out. Opening pop going heavily in favor of Orca Ballestra, as is this team fight here. Kingja is really the only player exerting pressure in mid, and they're forced to jump back to base. It's a free Rainmaker push for Orca Ballestra. We'll see what they can get off of it.
Yeah, if they can get a few picks right here, like how they're doing with lobbing these shots over, just hoping to get a pick, they just need, crucially, to get to this checkpoint and be able to push through, and they are getting 2-down situation. It's Crab looking in mid, is getting immediately shredded. That is going to be the first check going to Orca Ballestra really, really fast.
Yeah, Peter got a really nice double there by that first checkpoint, and that really allowed Orca Ballestra to have a safe path through. That means about pretty close to that Inkjet charge. They can get it if they want to, but here comes Kingja with that roller. Probably going to set a bubbler in this area, make it even harder for Peter to stay alive. Peter is desperately trying to stay alive as long as possible. Lots of Rainmaker shots, and it is, successfully keeping Zenith's Cat Fan Club away. But here comes the Crab, here comes the bubble. They both actually go down, or the two actually go down pretty quickly, but PETA forced to rotate around to this left side. Is going to get chased down by Redcap, and that is going to be them going down. They had a great idea there, but it just did not quite come to fruition, unfortunately.
But it was a good distraction, did stop Zenith Cat's Fan Club. It stopped Fan Club from getting back into mid just a little bit faster, and they are able to establish a good hold here. It's not going to be easy for Cat Fan Club to be able to push through here, especially as these specials are starting to go out. But Jaw, as always, is behind, gets a beautiful double, gets that Inkjet out of the air, which is absolutely huge. And with that Crab tank near the checkpoint, it looks like this is pretty free for Fan Club.
Yeah, the cool cats and kitten are meowing right along, getting that first checkpoint nice and clear. And there's a bubble to pave the way. They just have to get inside of it, and that's going to be a massive point gain. There we go. That's the lead. That's 30 points already crossed, and 2 are left alive, and they're both going to get taken down by the Inkjet from Candy. That's going to be a nice knockout 2-0 set victory for the Zenith Cat Fan Club, moving on to top 4.
Orca Ballestra's run does end probably sooner than they wanted to, but I imagine that they're happy just to get this far. Very, very good run from them, and they did, I'd imagine, get a result out of that last set. So, super exciting for them, and we're going to be continuing to see the, unfortunately, we're going to be keep on seeing this very, very difficult name for me to say throughout the bracket.
Hey, just imagine they just make it all the way to finals, and you just have, the ultimate tongue-twisting experience.
Please don't force that upon me. Don't wish that upon me. What did I ever do to you?
A lot of silliness, but Zenith Cat Fan Club is able to avenge Zenith after Orca Ballestra was able to defeat them and successfully move on to top 4. We only have 4 teams left in this great white bracket. Black Excellence taking it 2-1 over 7th Heaven. Zooka Sub taking it over against Velocity, so Black Excellence and Zooka Sub is going to be one of your quarter matches. The other is going to be Captain Happy Crew up against the Youth SPL Cat Fan Club, taking the win over Enrage minus Jeff. So all the top 3 seeds are taken out of this great white bracket. It's just going to be these 4 teams duking it out, trying to get that trophy for SOS 121.
See y'all in a second as we continue on to semifinals.
But now, Jake, you are stacking on a ton
Hello everyone and welcome back to Swimmer Sync 121. I'm Broken Pinky, joined here by Weef, and we are getting right into the swing of things here in semifinals. Black Excellence versus Zooka Sub here in this top 4 of SOS 121. Weef, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing very, very well, but I cannot help but notice that Adapt loves Honeydew, and I cannot say that that is a... I cannot imagine a worse melon to like, to be honest. It's a bottom tier melon in my opinion.
We've I don't know if you read the Twitch chat, but that may or may not be his girlfriend.
You know, never mind.
Adapt, I'm sure you have a lovely relationship.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
And I'm sure you're gonna have a lovely match ahead of you here in this top 4. It is still gonna be a best of 3, I believe, or yeah, best of 3. But should still be a good one at that. Black Excellence and Zooka have both been having a really strong run of things here in this SOS bracket, and now they're going to square off with each other for the chance of making grand finals here. So we have, you know, a good set ahead of us. Begrudgingly, it's going to be starting on Zone's Flounder Heights, but it is what it is.
Begrudgingly. No, I never thought I'd heard, like, I never thought I'd see the day where you say begrudgingly when referring to Flounder Heights.
Look, I love Flounder. It's an amazing map until people play to win the tournament. That's when it starts to become a little bit annoying. But casually, this map's a jam, okay? So
okay.
It is what it is. I'll take a win there.
So what are the flaws of that? Now that you've finally seen the light, what are the flaws?
The flaws are just that, you know, backline players are just a bunch of little babies and don't like that, you know, they have to learn a little bit of nuance when using their backline weapon, and you know, without a solid backline, it can be a little tough to navigate. So you never know. Just a few difficulties here coming in from all perspectives, but regardless, we're just gonna be jumping right into things. Game 1 of semifinals of SOS. Here we go. You're gonna be seeing that ballpoint coming out for, I believe, Zooka Sub. For Black Excellence, sorry. And you see both these comps revealed. Each team running a Tri-Slosher. Zooka Sub running that V-Jet Neo Machine. Very interesting comp choice.
Yeah, V-Jet, certainly interesting. Mostly because you do have a definite another backline weapon that has the same niche of having that ink back, which is something that I thought I'd see make V-Jet die out a lot, but it seems like it still has a place in the meta, apparently, and so we are seeing it being run here, and that Jet, which I aforementioned, is already coming out.
I mean, yeah, the thing about Jet's culture is that no matter what game it is, no matter what special it has, it is just going to spam the ever-living daylights out of it, and that's basically what it does with VAC, is it just gives you your team an never-ending supply of ink vac, and we saw Zooka Sub use that to get a quick first zone cap there. But right now we're back in some neutral territory here. Adapt is going to be chilling on the wall. Is going to get a splat, but it's going to get taken now by the line marker of this V-Jet here. But here comes the Inkjet trying to take down the Jet's culture, gets that zone cap. But this team fight is really where all that magic's going to be happening here. Tri-Slosher battle is going to happen in street. Ballpoint is going to try and take control of this top area, and Black Excellence is trying to drive out Zooka Sub, but they go 3 down. Zooka Sub is able to stem the bleeding a little bit and regain control of the zones, and starting to set up on the enemy roof.
Cooler going out, allowing this Tri-Slosher to play a little bit more aggressive, and we are seeing some of those, some usage of that quick super jump that Tactical does give you. Zooka Sub is doing a really good job at continuing to just hold here. Good use of angle shooters also coming out, and the Zooka is coming out from Black Excellence to try to get a pick to finally get in. One of the flaws of Flounder is that it can be really, really hard to get in sometimes, and here we see exactly what that can mean.
Yeah, but I mean, here's Black Excellence showing that they have the experience. You know, they know how to get in. They're doing just that, get that nice 3-down scenario. That is going to be the machine being rushed down, and Black Excellence regaining control of the zone. Adapt, trying to slot over the wall, looking to see if anyone's trying to get a little cheeky with his flank, but Black Excellence has a little bit of control here, has a few specials at the ready, notably that Juice and that Inkjet. Adapt is going to be popping that Inkjet, going to try and search for some kills. Gets a double there, but gets taken down in the process, but that numbers advantage is exactly what Black Excellence is looking for in this moment.
still not quite over. Well, now that it's basically wiped, Zooka Sub is going to be on the receiving end of what they were delivering earlier. Adapting, going here full on in, trying to get a pick, not quite able to find it, as the rest of the team is going to be targeted by that Inkjet. Really good coordination there with the Inkvac combining with the Zooka to protect it against the assailing force of that Inkjet, and now Zooka Sub is finally finding their way back in, but not quite after they've lose the lead and are still not quite in as they need.
Yeah, I mean, Zooka Sub just realized it's now or never, and they're just kind of jumping in one by one, and they're staggering because of, you know, the control Black Excellence has, but they're going to be going 2 down. Here comes the Inkvac on the zone, and this is the clutch factor here. You can't shoot past that Inkvac, and that's going to let Zooka Sub have a little more time to regroup. That vac shot is going to get that zone cap there, and that's going to be a fat penalty stacked on top of Black Excellence. They are going to regain zone control here, but now Zooka Sub has a little more room to breathe here, about 70 more zone timer points before they are out of this for good.
Adaptive is going to pop up out of seemingly nowhere and put a little bit of a hold onto Zooka Sub's push. They are 2 down, however, and so Zooka Sub is starting to get a final hold, but, you know, we are in what you see for like 90% of Flounder matches where the zone is completely stalled. It is at a standstill, nobody is scoring, and there's just a big fight in mid to see who can get enough picks to start getting that set up.
Yeah, Zookas are popped. Neither team has a special at the ready. They're just trying to not feed too much. Both the Tri-Sludgers are going to be trading there. Members are going down 1 by 1 in favor of Black Excellence, so that's going to be that cap, just a machine, and they're going to go down as well. 1 minute left of this game, and Black Excellence try to seal the deal here. Apple is pushed up here, very close to that Trizooka, and that's going to put on a ton of pressure. Inkjet at the ready as well from the ballpoint. Apple's going to get set up on this roof here. Does see, but one is going to pop up behind him, force Apple to drop, but that is going to be them taken out, and I mean, at this point, Zooka Sub really out of aggressive options here. They just have to move forward and hope for the best.
But with how they're being cornered by Apple and Zen, it's going to be very, very difficult. There's about 10 seconds left on the clock before there is a KO, before the timer of the game even runs out. And it seems like it's going to be punctuated by a double here from Zen into a triple. And the zone is stalled, but with 3 members down, it looks like Black Excellence is going not quite, actually, as they get a few sneaky jumps in. We'll see if they're able to cap and make it in time for overtime to activate.
Commentators curse, but there's 7 seconds left. And we're seeing just Zooka Sub desperately trying to paint around the area of the zone. It's in contention, but it's not going to quite flip soon enough. Black Excellence going to be taking that game 1. Zooka Sub was very close to extending and even has, you know, both zones captured in the overhead, but unfortunately, there's not enough to start up that overtime.
Yeah, Black Excellence knew exactly what they needed to do there. It's double zones map. You'll need to have one zone, or like if you hold on to one of the zones, the enemy team is not going to activate overtime. And so they were just stalling. They had the ballpoint painting the zone. All of their team was painting the zone, and almost nothing that Zooka Sub could have done there would have been able to cap it and activate overtime, let alone get them the hold they needed to get all the way down to the points they need to eventually win.
Yeah, I mean, Black Excellence just put on a ton of pressure as soon as they got, you know, that first zone cap, bringing it all the way down to 4, and Zooka Sub just never were able to fully recover, fighting quite literally an uphill battle for that entire game, and unfortunately succumbed to that pressure. But now it's a new game, it's a new start, much more even playing field, flat ground, if you will. TC Make-A-Mart, another certified classic.
Yeah, me personally, not a huge fan. I'm just not a huge fan of tower control in this game in general because it feels super awkward to me. But if you're gonna have to pick a tower control map, this is gonna be the one you're gonna want to pick.
I don't know. I'm personally more fond of Inkblot, but I definitely understand the tower control argument. Even TC Make-A-Mart being one of the better ones is pretty snowbally after that 3rd checkpoint. You know, if you can get there with just any amount of control behind the enemy lines, it's pretty easy to just knock out then and there. But that 2nd checkpoint is going to be really where that, you know, the 2nd checkpoint is where games are decided pretty much because it's so out in the open. But if you're able to get that control, if you're able to get that space, you can often just win with that momentum outright. But it's so difficult to push through, especially against a well-coordinated team. And that's exactly what these teams are. So going to be an interesting one for sure. Game 2 of the semifinals. See how these comps change.
The bucket players are going to be having an absolute field day here. And we see Tactic over there on the side of Zooka Sub still sticking with that BJ there, which is super, super interesting. Even if they didn't quite see the success they wanted with it last round.
Yeah, both these comps are staying the same. Mikey is going to be running that opening gambit though on the shot, but they go down immediately. The Jet's going to go down immediately as well. Zooka sub without a backline currently, and the only special they have is Tactical, which is not going to help when the Tri-Slasher is just cornered essentially, and that's going to be a free opening push for Black Excellence. And Mikey's kind of running out of time to get a kill here. They need to get a pick fast, but yeah, I don't know if they got the assist there. They did not get an assist in that opening gambit. It's done, but so too is Black Excellence's push with that great coordinated wipeout by Zooka sub, and they're starting to regain a little bit of control in mid here. Mikey on that enemy stack. Tic Tac is going to be the tower rider, and I mean, we're bringing the battle right to Black Excellence's plat.
Yeah, no, the control, the advantage there flipped on an absolute dime, and we see already it looks like Zooka sub is going to be taking the lead right away from Black Excellence. Now we see them advance even further past that checkpoint, but Zen on that Inkjet is going to get cancelled actually. And while the Zooka is not able to quite find another pick, it looks like Mikey over there is going to be starting to take position on the right stack, which is where they need to control to be able to start to get thinking about getting that next checkpoint.
Ooh, Kachao gets headshot there by the Zooka, and that's going to be the shot trade on both sides. Zooka sub still firmly has the player advantage and has a lot of map control here. This machine is going to be forced to shirk off a little bit, and that is going to be Zooka sub back on the tower once again, getting more of that passive special charge, getting more of those Zookas, more of those ink packs back. Could not be popped in time, unfortunately, but Zooka sub just has so much control of the map right now, even if they don't have all their players up. In fact, players are starting to go down, 3 down effectively, and that's going to be a delayed wipe from Black Excellence. Very good team play there, just able to stem the bleeding before Zooka sub could get to that second checkpoint. And now it's Black Excellence's turn. They have that Zooka online, trying to get a few more specials and just trying to establish any bit of control they can for their upcoming push.
Zooka on Zooka violence here, as it looks like Apple does manage to get a pick on the V-Jet, but 2 of the members of Black Excellence do go down in that fight, and it looks like we see a bit of a behind-the-lines action as players are flip-flopping, going behind each other and fighting out in mid. We're back in neutral here. No clear team has an advantage, although Zen, working with that Inkjet, is going to be looking for one.
Yeah, this Inkjet is popped, but Zooka sub has been doing a great job at utilizing this sort of left side drop area to pull off a lot of nice flanks with that double bucket action, and with that shot that's just been playing really aggressively this whole game, and it's kind of overwhelming Black Excellence and splitting their defense here, which is just a bit of a point that they're struggling with so far in this game. But we have seen what they're capable of doing with advantage, so if Black Excellence is able to break through, things could be pretty dire for Zooka sub, and that is sort of the delicate dance we are having upon us here. But Black Excellence, one of them is going to go down immediately. Inkjet is going to help with that assist, but that back is going to be on tower, going to be shielding some enemies. Kachao is going to be stuck behind their tactical there, forced to jump out to spawn, but no ground was really gained by either team here. Just Tactic is behind. Zen is going to try and pick them off, but already regrouped with the rest of the teammates. Zooka sub once again pushing from that left drop area, and Zen is able to defend against Kachao, but Zooka sub with that tactical are just going to be back like zombies in no time flat.
Yeah, but it looks like Black Excellence is starting to get a push, though, with the Zen position on the right stack, starting to get a little bit of control forward. Inkjet and the Zooka at the ready to end, with everyone all juiced up. Looks like the prime time to start using those specials and getting those picks. Zen over here going to instantly get a pick with that Zooka and start looking for the rest, looking for Mikey over there on that shot, pairing up with a teammate to try and corner them. Not quite able to find the pick, but it looks like Black Excellence is rapidly approaching that second checkpoint and took the lead while they're at it.
Yeah, they have the lead, but it's not a safe lead whatsoever. Only 6 points and barely even put any work into that second checkpoint. With a minute to go, Zooka sub definitely has the capability of getting this lead back, but importantly, Black Excellence has that lead, is putting that pressure. Zooka shots are going to come out. Mikey's going to be going for this flank on the left side once again. Apple sees them, but can't take that fight on low ground. Kachao's going to regain the stack, but Apple's going to get that pick there. 2 on the side of Black Excellence are going to go down. Suction bomb thrown by tower. Very well placed, not able to find one. Shots are going to battle, and Mikey's going to come out on top. This is exactly what Zooka sub needs. Mikey gets a double, and they're starting to push forward. Here comes the dap, trying to get the defense, gets the trade as Mikey gets the 3rd kill, but it's just the machine left alive, and the machine's going to go down in no man's land with 30 seconds left to go. Black Excellence just has to hold on a little bit longer, and they'll be in grand finals of SOS.
Yeah, you never want to be in this situation if you're Zooka sub here, because this is match point, it's tournament point, etc., etc., and we're just seeing it's a hard situation because they have to get advantage in such a little time. And they have to get to the point where they push forward. But that's going to be 3 down. Mikey over here is going to be able to clutch up. He is standing on the tower, but he's controlled. But there's picks coming from him. There's jumps going in. The Zooka is going out, not quite able to hold on for long enough, though. And Black Excellence is going to be in Grand Finals, like Mickey said.
Yeah, the Zooka, there was a bit of a Zooka moment there with Mikey in the end. Not able to get any of like the 3 people on the tower, unfortunately, just because the hitbox is ever so slightly jank. But Black Excellence had such a strong push there and had such a strong defense, really was able to stop things from getting out of hand, both on offense and on defense. And that is why they are going to be moving on to Grand Finals of SOS, taking it 2-0 over Zooka Sub, and in a pretty good spot to take the whole tournament, just 1 set away with an opponent I believe is with an opponent that's already been determined.
Yeah, so it's looking like it's going to be a short break if we have a break at all here. Let's see who this opponent is, and it's going to be Captain Happy Crew taking it over Zenith SPL Cat Fan Club. Thank God. Sorry, nothing against the players. I'm a little bit glad that I don't have to say that a few more times.
They were my goats. I wanted to hear the stumble and the stutter, but unfortunately, no more. The stage is set for Grand Finals of Grey White SOS. It is going to be Black Excellence versus Captain Happy Crew. Going to go on a quick, short little break here, but I'll see you guys in just a little bit for Grand Finals.
See y'all then. Wow, we were gone for so incredibly long. Welcome back to SS 121. We are here in Grand Finals, watching the epic face-off between Black Excellence and Captain Happy Crew.
Yeah, we're back once again for one last match here of SOS 121. This time it's going to be a best of 5 action. We finally get some of those long course Splatoon sets that we've all been, so looking forward to, and it's definitely an interesting stage set here between Black Excellence and Captain Happy Crew. A lot of familiar faces on both these teams, 2 very strong teams had to have been to get to this point, and here ready to face off in, Grand Final, see who can get that nice SOS 121 trophy. Gonna be starting off this potentially 5-game set on Clamlet's Humpback Pump track.
Indeed. We are just on Humpback, it felt like. Well,
are we bookending this set with Humpback? Wait.
Oh, no. Huh?
Wait a minute.
That's an interesting one. Clamlet's Humpback is... It's similar to Make 'em Art in the regard where, like, if you lose advantage, you're gonna be scored on in a second and a half. It's not a long way from basket to basket.
Yeah, also, I just realized if these are the maps for Riptide, and the bracket gets reset, there's potential for 4 Clamlet's Humpbacks, which would be absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
But as you were saying, yeah, pretty close distance between both baskets, but it can be just a little difficult to push through just because of how open that area is, how many spots you can defend using high ground. So it can be a little hard to force your way all the way to the enemy basket. So gonna be an interesting one for sure. Interesting way to start off. We get to see how both these teams get a feel for each other on this very neutral heavy map. So just hop right into it. Grand finals of SOS 121.
First of potentially 2 Clan Blitz Humpback games. Awesome. We are going to see double spalling on the side of Captain Happy Crew, while Black Excellence is going to be sticking with, I believe, the same thing that they've been running, the tactical or the V-try, the shot, and the ballpoint. A very classic comp, and one that works really, really well right now. Some very powerful specials on that side.
Yeah, I mean, and we're starting off with, you know, pretty much what I said. A pretty firm neutral here. Both these teams are trying to paint up, trying to get some specials, trying to build up that clam economy here. Definitely some interesting maps on both sides. We are seeing that ballpoint nouveau coming out from Captain Happy here, and that Ink is going to help that team start to push forward. Gets a nice triple there. Not a triple, but 3 are going to go down from Black Excellence. The last is going to jump out, and Captain Happy set up pretty far up, but that clam ball is going to be stuck on this upper ledge, and Captain Happy can't quite grab it through all the mist. He is going to be, you know, sacrificed pretty early, unfortunately. But Captain Happy Crew still has a lot of control in these parts, just trying to extend their domain as much as possible and potentially get another ball rolling.
Yeah, letting that ball die was absolutely worthy sacrifice for maintaining the control they have, for not going down. And I didn't, did we point out that this is a ballpoint nouveau that we're seeing?
This is the ballpoint nouveau that we're seeing.
Yeah, and we indeed, their back is at the ready, so we're going to see how they use that here. Already on the right side, coordinating with that tactical lure and making sure that Black Excellence is almost wiped out. Only Apple over there on the shot left alive, and that is going to be the first score of the game.
Yeah, and I mean, they were able to get an extra claim in for their troubles. Obviously, I'd imagine they'd want just a little bit of extra credit here, but this Zap is sort of caught off alone. No one's able to get another claim in that basket before it closes, unfortunately. So Black Excellence does have a little more time to stall, but they're really going to have to work hard to push out Captain Happy Crew, and then they're succeeding to just that. Chrome is going to drop down in a bit of no man's land, though, and they're going to get called out quickly and taken out as well. Black Excellence losing their tactical lure supply, and already Captain Happy Crew is retaking mid, and Black Excellence a little bit clumped here, not quite sure how to approach. They have 2 Inkjets at the ready. One of them's going to be popped. Adapter's going to be waiting a little bit before they use theirs, but Apple going to get taken down by Kwanyo Zooka, and this is just the dominant control we're seeing from Captain Happy Crew right now.
Yeah, I anticipate seeing another score very, very soon if something doesn't happen. But Apple getting picked off does not help their chances back at the ready, which is going to be utilized in this push here as players are going to be trying to drop in on the defense here. Only the Try left alive, who just respawned over here. Adapt going around, doing the best that he can to try to board off these players that are just going at their throats, but they're already down to 20 points and they still have a bit of control, potential to get a few more claims in, but that is going to be basket closed to push over. But mid is still so purple.
It is incredibly purple. Captain Happy Crew just has an unbelievable amount of control. Apple's just going to try to push it on their lonesome. Is going to get that pick on Kwanyo, and Adapt coming in on the angle to try and help out. Zooka shot's going to be shot to the heavens, going to try and get that pick on Hog Rider, but they're going to live, and but this is sort of what Black Excellence needs. They did go a little bit too far too fast, though. Hog Rider's going to get that pick. It's going to get another pick onto Zen, and all of that momentum Black Excellence was putting on is now gone, and that basket is once again open for Captain Happy Crew, and they got another clam, and they're down to 20 points, and things are just kind of getting out of control for Black Excellence here.
When we talk about the absolute amount of control that Hog Rider has been exerting, they did just go down, but we saw them get 3, 4, 5 picks as players just ran right into them, because the zone of control that Analysis has is certainly not something to mess with without some pretty useful tools there. We do see finally Black Excellence pushing up just a little bit, but they don't have all the claims in the world. They actually have 0, and they're still just trying to get it. Zin going to get picked off by that vac combo there. And it looks like Captain Happy Crew is a little bit on the rebound as they're trying to gain a little bit more control back.
Yeah, they're taking a lot of control on the sides, and that's really going to split up where Black Excellence is going to focus. And they're forced to just kind of corral in the middle here in a very clumped positioning fashion. That's going to be prime conditions for Kwanyo to get a nice Zooka pick. Adapt is just kind of stuck in mid, has 7 clams, isn't really able to build a ball. Well, is finally able to, but can't really have a good opportunity to pop this Inkjet. No really good poking options. Is going to pop it right now. Going to be searching for Hog Rider here behind this wall, but it's just so difficult for to have to get any sort of angle to pressure from. And Hog Rider is going to be dropping down, trying to camp that landing. Dash is very weak, but is able to get out, but it's just these little instances of 1v1s that are just not quite going in the favor of Black Excellence, and they really need a lot of miracles to happen at this point because they are down severely with 30 seconds left in this game.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe the pick on Hogrider is what they need, but with Captain Happy going ahead and getting a pick with that back, they are a little bit on the back foot here. Black Excellence is starting to be able to pick up, but Zen overextend just a little bit with that Inkjet and just ends up getting picked off. 2 players down on the side of Captain Happy Crew though, and a ball on the board for Black Excellence means that overtime is going to activate here. They are all coolered up and ready to push. They have to be hasty, but they can't be too fast or they might find themselves all washed up. Here they are, 2 down, 3 down. It looks like this push may not happen with Apple here. There could potentially be a jump. They get a 2 down situation here, but that final clam is not quite breaking. They still have the pity at the ready, but do they have time to run it in? It doesn't look like they've even picked it up. It looks like the game is over in terms of Captain Happy Crew taking game 1.
Yeah, I mean, just Captain Happy on that ballpoint standing beneath the basket. There's no real way to approach from there just because of the ballpoint's fire rate, and Apple was just a little bit too late with getting that flank. Captain Happy did eventually go down, but it was only after the rest of Black Excellence had gone down, and Captain Happy Crew takes a very dominant game 1 on the first instance of Clambless humpback that we might see in the set.
Double Splatling strong. We did just see the NA championships, or whatever they were, you know, PAX was won with double Splatling comps being run, so that's something that can definitely prove to be very strong with just the sheer amount of control that those 2 weapons in combination with each other can really put out.
Yeah, I mean, Splatlings are just so incredibly strong in this game. I mean, pretty much almost all of them has a solid kit. Keyword is almost, but we've seen Heavy be good, we've seen Ballpoint be good, we've seen Not be good, we're now seeing Heavy Edit be good. They're just all so central to the meta right now, so it's nice to see someone other than shooters taking over. That is for sure.
But we are going to be going on to Splat Zone's Hagglefish Market here, which is... It's a map that I feel like right at the beginning of the game everyone loved, everyone was so ready to play on, and now it's just kind of like, oh, Splat Zone's Haggle, yay.
This one again, gosh dang it.
God.
We got two new zones maps added to this game, and they're great, and it's not this one.
It may be a rectangle, but in our hearts it's an hourglass. You're funneled through mid. The flanks aren't really that great on this one. Like on tower control, they are pretty solid, but here you have to be able to jump across grids to be able to make use of any of them effectively, it seems. And it's basically just push through mid with specials, force your way through like tooth and nail, and then hold for a little bit, and then retreat, and then rinse and repeat. It's the zones, the dreaded zones gameplay loop just taken to extremes.
I feel like Zones Hagglefish is the map in this game that most exemplifies the paint the square simulator that people dumb down Splat Zones to, because you literally do just shoot zone for 5 minutes because there's not much reason to push past the enemy court unless you really have a lot of control and you're just ready to knock out in one push. But we might see anything happen here. I mean, Adapt is going to be switching onto that V-Slosh here. Tricer's going to be left behind. Hogrider's going to be switching from that Nautilus to that Viper Deco just because missiles are so incredibly strong on this map. And Apple's going to be switching off to that 52 gal with that added walling potential, you know, trying to stall as much time in front of that zone as possible. But here we go. Those first round of 10 missiles are going to be singing that those vines are a booming, and let's just get right into it.
That's such an obscure reference. I don't think anyone even gets that. Zooka already
you get
going
it. That's
out.
what matters.
Well, yeah, of course. Zooka already going out and getting a nice pick on the enemy ballpoint, followed right up by a pick on the end zap. Looks like the players of Captain Happy Crew are going to be able to move in just a little bit, but it's quickly countered by some tri-strikes and the Inkjet and the 52 gal moving in from Black Excellence, capping the zone and securing their hold once again. They are going to be starting to move forward.
Oh god, it's the paint the square simulator. Now it's Black Excellence who has the square painted, but now it's Captain Happy Crew that has the square painted. The specials are going to be coming out, and they still have a Zooka at the ready, and they're all juiced up right now. Zooka is going to get on Zen. Quanyo is going to start helping Captain Happy Crew get that first actual solid hold on this game, and we're seeing Captain Happy Crew push up onto the enemy plat. Also, I mean, sewed it up so that if they die, it doesn't really matter here, and Black Excellence really struggling to get some control here. Whale being popped on the stone slam is not going to do much, but that strikes is going to help, you know, put on a little bit more pressure on the enemy team as is, you know, that 3-down scenario. But Captain Happy Crew is coming back, but just not in time. Black Exellence is going to get that control of zone, but they're already missiled once again and already forced to push back once again just because of the lack of retreat options on the stage.
Yeah, Ballpoint did a really good job of holding there, getting a crucial pick and not allowing Black Excellence to move up further than the zone, though it is still pinning in their favor, and they are rapidly approaching the lead that they want. Apple here going for a sneaky shark here. Let's see if it is able to find a pick, not quite before having to run back just a little bit, but the zone is still in their favor. They do still get the lead off of that, and so it's a successful play in my book.
Yeah, successful play for sure, and I mean, Black Excellence has a pretty solid lead right now, trying to push it down even further. Cal's not quite able to get a pick though. Black Excellence are 2 down. It's 2 versus 4 in the favor of Captain Havoc, and yeah, it's going to be a pretty easy zone cap for them there. Hogrider is going to get a pick on that ballpoint though, and Zen going down is pretty catastrophic for Black Excellence, especially since Captain Havoc Crew is almost out of that penalty, and Captain Happy themselves has an ink back, which is going to make things even harder for Black Excellence to paint the zone, especially as they have no real options to pressure to, you know, fill that vac quickly. And I mean, Captain Havoc Crew out of that penalty is just going to try and establish a hold on zone as long as possible. They're so close to getting this lead. Here come the tri-strikes from Black Excellence. They're just painting the square as best they can, but that vac shot is going to be a deterrent, and that's going to allow Captain Havoc Crew to get that lead. And this is just a scramble right now. This could be the set here. 3 are down to the side of Black Excellence, so that ballpoint jump is going to be camped. 1 is jumping in, I believe. Maybe they weren't able to get that jump off in time, but Captain Havoc Crew is in a devastating spot right now. So close to knocking it out, and Black Excellence nowhere near the zone at this point. That's going to be a very solid game too, as Captain Havoc Crew are 1 game away from taking the tournament.
Yeah, no, that was a very, very strong showing from Captain Havoc Crew with a lot of struggle at the beginning, but once they got their footwork, they got their footwork. It's just zones haggle, man. Like, it's one of those maps where, like, if you're staggered and the zone is like below 30, you know it's done for. It's so depressing. Not much counterplay and not much you can do once you get that stronghold. But we are going on to Tower Control Manta, which, as the objective is actually moving and not completely static, has a little bit more hope for comebacks.
Yeah, I mean, the objective is going to be moving a little bit. Tower Control is a little bit more dynamic, but this is... Tower Control, I feel like, is the mode where the specials really play an impact just because that passive special charge is so incredibly broken. We do see Game 5 map is going to be changed. Sadly, very unfortunately, very tragically, some might say, we're not going back to Clown with Hump back. It's going to be, you know, edited to Barnacle and Dime, but we might not even get there at this point. Captain Havoc Crew up 2-0 in the set, and Black Excellence, you know, had some whispers of hope there in that game too, but Captain Havoc Crew was able to play solid enough, and things are looking rough for Black Excellence right now. It is a bit of a do-or-die scenario for them if they want to take this tournament.
Yeah. I think Clam double humpback was funny, but this is probably a change for the better. Tower Control Manta, I don't know, it's interesting. It's improved from Splatoon 2. The hallway is wider. It's not just like arm's length. It's something now. It's an interesting one with I don't know how to describe it. It's yeah, thumbs up.
It's a weird little feller.
Certified a Wi-Fi-esque moment.
There is unfortunately no more block on the on that left plat, which makes the map a little bit less complex than it was in Splatoon 2, but that widening of the street is just such a nice convenience factor, and tower jumps are still absolutely possible. But you know what else is possible? We can just end this set here and now. Black Excellence is going to be trying to stop it as we go into Game 3 of Grand Finals here. And let's see what happens. Adapt is going to be swapping over to that machine, and we're seeing no buckets coming out for Captain Havoc Crew. Hog Rider is going to be going back on that Nautilus with opening gambits.
For sure. And so we are going to be seeing, double spotling, so strong, awesome, versus a completely backless comp. You know, maybe they decided that Zen on that ballpoint maybe was not quite working out for them, and so they're switching to something a little bit more different, trying to see what works. They have nothing really to lose here if it doesn't. And so we are going to be seeing over here a lot of scrambling in mid, and already Black Excellence is 2 down. Last member is trying to bail out of the base of that, what's it called? The bats, I don't know. What is it called? Bunker. Before it's too late. B-words.
B-words. Yeah, the bingus on the map is so hard to hold, but, you know, Captain Havoc Crew is going to be getting that first push. 3 dead on the side of Black Excellence. It is just going to be that Neo Splash alive, trying to shoot from some high ground, but Chrome is going to get taken down there, and things are just spiraling a little bit in favor of Captain Havoc Crew. Tower is going to be pushed probably past that second checkpoint with the Tacticooler on it. Soda Machine is going to be disappearing pretty soon, yeah. But Hog Rider is going to come in with full force with this Nautilus, trying to get the pick on Zen. Adapt is going to pop up right next to them, but Adapt is going to get double teamed there. Power is all the way at the bottom at that third checkpoint. Vac is popped. And that might just spell the end of SOS here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're done. Happy New Year. Cap and Happy Crew, happy as they may be, are your SOS 121 champions.
Not with the word, but with the bang. A very, very explosive game from Captain Happy Crew, knocking out this SOS with, you know, it started out, the set started out pretty close, and then just the momentum that Captain Happy Crew gained was insane. They were able to carry it all the way through a nice, clean 3-0 sweep.
Yeah, Captain Happy Crew just had such a strong run here. I believe not even dropping a game in this Great White Bracket. Very dominant display here, saying don't you ever see this low ever again, and they're going to be taking SOS very strongly. Congratulations to them. Congrats to Zenith Cat Fan Club. One more mention to that tongue twister name for getting 3rd place here. And, you know, congrats to Black Excellence for putting up a great fight, having a great run in this tournament. But in the end, Captain Happy Crew are going to be your champions.
Indeed. Hopefully we'll see a run back from these other teams some other time, but that is going to be it for tonight. Broken Pinky, my friend, where can we find you?
You guys can find me at the lovely Twitter, X, Elon Musk, pipedream.com, at brokenpinky_. Maybe I'll be a little more active there. We'll see. Stuff can happen. But Weef, where can we find you?
You can find me on both Twitter and very, very occasionally Twitch at Weef like Reef Slider, but with a W.
Yeah, that is going to be all for us here at IPL. Congrats once again to Captain Happy Crew for taking SOS. Thank you all so much for watching, and have yourselves a great night. We'll see you guys next time.
See you later.
Yeah, you might be right, bro.
Zip him up.
But now, Jake, you are